The era of Beast Girls begins with a pact with an SSS-Level School Beauty. Greetings, fellow multiversal adventurers. It's an honor to have you back in this saga that has us all hooked. Official channel statement: this story is 100% epic fiction. So please don't attempt real magic, the results aren't guaranteed and insurance won't cover it. The rights to this masterpiece belong entirely to its brilliant original author. We are just a barge sharing it with you. Do you want to keep being part of this amazing community? Join our ninja army of subscribers on YouTube and give this content a like. And for true fans, our Patreon has exclusive ninjutsu waiting for you. Chapter 376 Yingtian Pavilion, Xie Mengxuan's ecstatic joy. Yun Bing flicked her forehead, saying irritably, "Ziren, have you gotten so much fatter and thinner? You went to a restaurant with him, both of you got drunk, and he made some really outrageous request, like kicking you? Just give it to him. Are you trying to end your 1,500-year-old virginity?" Ziren rubbed her head in pain. Ziren, I'm a woman of my word. I can't just refuse him, can I? If he really said it, I would agree. Yun Bing looked at her with a strange gaze, saying, I never thought you were such a casual person. Don't call yourself my best friend anymore, you're embarrassing me. Ziren was speechless. You're the casual one. Listening to their conversation and Ziren's composed attitude, Xiao Ye sensed that things weren't so simple. So he said, Sister Yunbing, no need to persuade her anymore. Sister Ziren should have her own way of dealing with this. Ziren's beautiful eyes lit up. Xiao Ye understands me best. Alright, I'll take you both tonight. After saying that, she took out a secret command and sent it out. Then she read something on the communicator. In the evening, Ziren, dressed in a purple dress, went out. She wore a pendant around her neck, on which was placed a bronze palace shrunk to the size of a little fingertip. Inside the bronze palace, Yunbing and Xiao Ye were in front of a rippling image. The rippling image showed the scene in front of Ziren. Yunbing snorted coldly, I want to see what Ziren has to do. HMPH, to be honest, if it's really given to that vice leader, it's better to give it to Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye was confused, give it to what? Yunbing said irritably, to kick him. Xiao Ye's lips twitched. A lone man and a lone woman going to a hotel, it seemed that was indeed the only thing that could happen. In the image, Ziren quickly arrived at Yingtian Pavilion. Standing before the magnificent and elegant restaurant, Xie Mengxuan looked around. Upon seeing Ziren, he immediately smiled with delight. But as Ziren approached, he rubbed his eyes, wondering if he was seeing things. Her face was still so pure and beautiful, still so tall, but her figure seemed completely different, it had collapsed. Before, she had a devilish figure, perfectly proportioned, able to fill out a purple dress. Now, her figure was very ordinary. Ziren, he called out uncertainly. Ziren's pretty face darkened. Alliance leader Ouyang, don't you recognize me? I am Ziren. Xie Mengxuan was momentarily stunned. Could breaking through to the Saint Realm cause one's figure to deteriorate? There was no such thing. Or perhaps Ziren's previous devilish figure was due to pouting? Haha, well, I've already reserved a private room. Please follow me. He gestured for her to come in. Regardless of how Ziren's figure had changed, as long as this person was Ziren, that was enough. That pure and pretty face was his dream goddess. Upon arriving at the private room, the two sat at a table by the window. Xie Mengxuan poured 2 glasses of wine and laughed. This wine was pre-ordered. Let's drink to our heart's content today, until we're completely drunk. Ziren took a small sip, the fiery alcohol burning in her throat. She frowned. This wine was at least 80 proof. It seemed Xie Mengxuan intended to get her drunk. Inside the bronze hall, Yunbing angrily said, that idiot Ziren, she drank it without even checking. What if it's drugged? Xiao Ye also frowned. Yunbing said, once Ziren is drunk, we'll kidnap her. Outside, Ziren went straight to the point. Alliance leader Ouyang, just say what you need. There's no need for all this. I said I'd agree unconditionally, and I mean it. Looking at her face, Xie Mengxuan was extremely excited and laughed. No rush, Ziren. You're so busy. This is the first time I've drunk with you. Let's drink first. I'll make my demands when we're in a good mood. He. Today, Xie Mengxuan will enjoy the most beautiful woman in the capital. Ziren, the first love of countless men, is mine. If it weren't for the outrageous demand of a contract, Ziren would definitely have proposed a contract with him. But if a contract couldn't be made, A kiss should suffice. She had already said she would agree to one thing unconditionally. After drinking 1 cup of wine, Xie stopped. The wine was too strong, burning her throat. Xie Mengxuan picked up a pot of wine beside him and said, "This wine is better, let's switch." After filling the cup, Xie didn't touch it, a smile playing on her lips. Alliance leader Wu Yang, you opened the 3rd-tier secret realm ahead of schedule, that's good. Many Supreme members have obtained good things. Alliance leader Wu Yang was taken aback, then laughed heartily. Of course, I did it all for the sake of our Supreme Alliance. Xie smiled, a glint of light flashing in her beautiful eyes. Alliance leader Wu Yang, I won't drink the wine. Just tell me your request. Seeing her resolute tone, Xie Mengxuan said, Xie, I begged the ancestor for a long time to grant you access to the special grade secret realm. After recounting his efforts, he changed the subject and said bluntly, as you know, I've admired you for a long time. Taking this opportunity, I want to have intercourse with you once to deepen our relationship. Have intercourse once? Xie cursed inwardly, her beautiful eyes narrowing. This man was indeed up to no good. Xie Mengxuan asked expectantly, Xie, I only have this one request. It shouldn't be too difficult, right? Inside the bronze hall, Yunbing cursed, that old man, he's really no good. He's lusting after Xiren's body. Xiren is really something, she's about to lose her chastity. Xiao Ye raised his hand and said, Sister Xiren hasn't said anything yet. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiren smiled and replied, okay. No problem. Xiao Ye's lips twitched, and he said, alright, Sister Xiren probably just wants a man. Yunbing snorted coldly, I think she's just been single for too long, too thirsty, and wants to find a man to vent her frustrations. HMPH, finding a man is one thing, but finding someone so old? It's better to let you have it. Xiao Ye's eyes widened, let me have it? Outside, Xie Mengxuan couldn't stop smiling, overjoyed. He. She agreed, Xiren agreed, that's great. Xiren's rosy lips curled slightly as she said, it's still early, I have something to tell you. Xie Mengxuan was extremely excited and asked, what is it? Xiren took out several documents and handed them to Xie Mengxuan, calmly smiling. 3 days ago, 3 third-tier secret realms opened, and a large number of people who did not belong to the Supreme Alliance entered. They even used special means to obtain the secret realm cores. After the secret realms closed yesterday, those 3 secret realms disappeared without a trace, stolen by someone who lifted the world restriction. Who let those people in, which faction they belong to, and who lifted the world restriction? I have investigated everything thoroughly. The list is on these documents. Alliance leader Wu Yang, you should know what will happen to those who stole the Supreme Alliance's secret realms, right? A dangerous smile bloomed on her pretty face. Xie Mengxuan's heart skipped a beat, his excited smile froze, and he hurriedly picked up the documents to read them. Whoosh! In an instant, his face turned pale, and he slumped into his chair. This information was like a bucket of cold water poured on him, extinguishing his excitement and replacing it with a bone-chilling cold. Chapter 377 Xie Mengxuan, I'll change my request. This document meticulously records the process by which Xie Mengxuan secretly released members of the Yu Yang family into a third-tier core secret realm. It details how he used his vice-alliance leader authority to release them, used a one-time world restriction unlocking treasure, and stole 3 third-tier core secret realms. The document lists the detailed names of over 10 Yu Yang family members, including Yu Yang Xiu, Yu Yang Feng, Yang Zhexian, and Zhong Wen. This document is enough to bring him and the Yu Yang family to their doom. Xie Mengxuan, drenched in cold sweat, his face stiff, coldly said, Xiren, you plotted against me? Xiren shook her slender white fingers and calmly smiled, no, I didn't plot against you. You did all of this, I didn't interfere in the slightest. Alliance leader Wu Yang, you should know how the crimes listed in this document will be punished according to the Supreme Alliance's laws, right, she said with a smile. Looking at the smile on that pure and pretty face, Xie Mengxuan felt it was a smiling tiger, concealing countless dangers. According to the laws of the Supreme Alliance, for these crimes, he, as the vice leader, would be dismissed and expelled. Those members of the Yu Yang family listed in the records would also be hunted down and slaughtered by the Supreme Alliance's Supremas. If the ancestor, the Supreme Elder of the Supreme Alliance, saw this, he might not show him any favoritism and would simply stand by and watch. Thinking of this, Xie Mengxuan's face turned deathly pale, His eyes filled with terror, and he was drenched in sweat. Ziran smiled faintly. Alliance Leader Wu Yang, whether this is the last time I call you Alliance Leader Wu Yang is up to you to decide. You can take back that request and think about something else. I'll say it again, I'll unconditionally grant you one request. Inside the bronze hall, Yun Bing slapped her thigh and laughed. You, Ziran, you're still the good sister I know, not some cheap whore I can just kick around. Xiao Ye's lips twitched. If you want to slap your own thigh, why are you slapping mine, and so hard at that? Yun Bing rolled her eyes. I'm happy, so what? Xiao Ye raised his hand and slapped her pert bottom twice, humming, I'm happy too. I knew it. Sister Ziran isn't as simple as we imagine. Someone who can become the leader of the Supreme Alliance wouldn't be easily manipulated by others. Yun Bing rubbed her bottom, her eyes full of resentment, nodded, and thought to herself, in these past 1,000 years, Ziran has grown a lot. She's no longer the good friend, the good sister I fully understood. Outside, at the banquet table, Xie Mengxuan's pupils contracted as he stared at the beautiful face he had longed for day and night. He felt a chill run down his spine. She was incredibly cunning and calculating. Only after calming down did he realize why Ziran had promised him something unconditionally. She already had a plan. Even without the theft of the secret realm, she probably had other ways to threaten him. Xie Mengxuan took a deep breath, gave Ziran a long look, and said stiffly, I'll change my request. I won't have sex with you anymore. You'll have to suppress this matter mentioned in the documents, prevent it from leaking out, and keep it buried in your heart. How about that? Ziran smiled and nodded. Sure, I said I'd agree to one thing unconditionally, and I, Ziran, always keep my word. I'll suppress this matter. You'll still be the Vice Alliance leader, and the Yang family won't be held accountable. Xie Mengxuan slumped in his chair, forced a smile, and said, Thank you. Ziran's pretty face turned cold, and she changed her tone. This is a one-time thing. Next time, I won't hold back. She also had concerns. The Supreme Elder was Xie Mengxuan's ancestor, which meant the Yang family's ancestor. Even if the matter in the documents were made public, Xie Mengxuan probably wouldn't be dismissed, and those members of the Yang family listed in the documents wouldn't be hunted down. She believed the Supreme Elder would suppress the matter. So, exchanging Xie Mengxuan's request felt very worthwhile. What Ziran didn't know was that the Supreme Elder of the Supreme Alliance had a strained relationship with the Yang family and was indifferent to Xie Mengxuan. Xie Mengxuan's rise to the position of Vice Alliance leader was due to his outstanding abilities and a bit of luck. Ziran reached out her delicate white hand, picked up the documents, and burned them in front of Xie Mengxuan. Instantly, the ashes were scattered by the breeze from the window, landing on the table, Xie Mengxuan's slumped body, his stiff face, and drifting throughout the private room. Ziran stood up and said, All right, you've made your demands. I should go back. She left with a faint fragrance. Watching her receding figure, Xie Mengxuan called out unwillingly, Ziran, don't you plan to find a partner? Are you planning to stay single forever? Ziran, standing at the door, replied dismissively without turning back, Yeah, all men are the same. With that, she left without stopping. Xie Mengxuan deflated, slumping into his chair. He picked up the strong liquor jug on the table and chugged it down his throat, his face filled with endless desolation and melancholy. A chance to kiss her? A chance to have sex with Ziran? It was all over. After revealing his intentions, there was no hope left. Ziran would likely remain single for life. A woman of her purity and elegance, without a blemish on her record, without a dark past, she disdained to have relations with any man, nor would she ever look at any man. Meanwhile, Ziran returned to the Supreme Alliance's main hall. After returning the Bronze Palace to Xiao Ye, she went to handle some business. An hour later, she returned. Seeing Xiao Ye lying on the sofa, his head resting on Yun Bing's long, white legs, the two chatting and laughing, Ziran froze, a sense of loss washing over her. She had already decided to get Xiao Ye and form a contract with him. Deep down, she felt an urge to be with him, so when she saw Xiao Ye and Yun Bing so intimately together, she felt a pang of sadness and a slight sense of loss. Ziran, are you done? Yun Bing called out, noticing Ziran out of the corner of her eye. Ziran nodded. I'm done. She sat down next to Yun Bing, who patted her shoulder and praised, You're something else. You planned everything all along, waiting for that old man to fall into the trap. Everything was under your control, You completely outmaneuvered the Vice Alliance leader. Xiao Ye also looked at her with astonishment. Ziran scratched her head, slightly embarrassed, and smiled. No, not really. I still have a lot of things I don't understand, and I'd like to ask you for some advice. Yunbing's eyes lit up, and she exclaimed happily, you have something else to ask me? Tell me, what is it? I'd be happy to be your teacher. Ziran glanced at Xiao Ye without leaving a trace, then looked away and said, I'm thinking about men. I want to get him, but I don't know how. Can you teach me, Xiao Bing? Yunbing's beautiful eyes widened, and a look of shock appeared on her charming face. Holy crap, Ziran, someone destined to be single, actually wants men? You're not lying to me, are you? Xiao Ye, did you hear that? Ziran said she wants men. Xiao Ye nodded. I heard it. Ziran's pure and pretty face flushed red, and she said a little embarrassedly, oh dear, I'm a woman too, my orientation is normal, wanting men isn't that normal. Are you going to teach me or not? How am I supposed to pursue a man? Yunbing excitedly slapped her long white legs, slap slap slap. He laughed loudly, teach me? Leave it to me. I guarantee you'll win that man's heart. Ziran's pretty face lit up with joy, but she felt a little guilty. I'm sorry, I'm asking you to teach me how to pursue your husband. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 378 Yunbing, will be your wingman. Yunbing exclaimed excitedly, you've finally ended your virginity. That's something to celebrate. Ziran glared at her, don't tease me. Teach me how to pursue a man, how to win his heart. Yunbing, confident and shrewd, said, relax, it's just pursuing a guy. I'll teach you step by step, but before that. She was very curious, asking, who is that man? What's his name? Have I seen him? Is he handsome? Xiao Ye also cast a curious glance. Ziran blushed, vaguely saying, you've seen him. He's very handsome, very charming, and extremely outstanding. She couldn't tell Yunbing yet that the man was Xiao Ye, otherwise Yunbing might tear her apart, let alone teach her how to pursue a man. Yunbing's mind conjured up many men's faces. She knew too many men, many of them outstanding, to be sure. She immediately ruled out Xiao Ye. He was too young. Given Ziran's pride, the age difference was too great, Ziran wouldn't even consider him. Yunbing guessed, is it the vice leader of the Supreme Alliance? The one you met at Yingchen Pavilion for drinks tonight? Ziran rolled her eyes and said speechlessly, stop guessing. I'll tell you once I've won him over. Yunbing nodded, her curiosity growing even stronger. What kind of man could make the stunningly beautiful Ziran, the most beautiful woman in the capital, put aside her pride and pursue him? Based on my experience pursuing Xiao Ye, she said, stroking her chin thoughtfully, the first point is, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. You can start with food. Huh? What are you doing? Yunbing asked, tilting her head to look. She saw Ziran take out a small notebook and write something earnestly with a pen in her right hand. Ziran raised her head, revealing her pure and beautiful face. Her eyes narrowed into crescent moons as she said, I'm writing this down to learn. Don't let my status as the leader of the Supreme Alliance fool you. I'm a complete novice when it comes to dating. Yunbing's lips twitched, and she said, all right. Ziran continued, Xiao Ye, you're a man, you should know what men like to eat. Can you name some foods men enjoy? Xiao Ye chuckled, food? Does spicy strips count? Many men are obsessed with spicy strips, and fried rice, iced cola. Ziran lowered her head, her face beaming with joy, unseen by the two of them. Xiao Ye, I'm going to write down your favorite foods. Swish, swish, swish. The sound of paper scraping against paper filled the air. Yunbing gave Xiao Ye a thumbs up and laughed. Xiao Ye, Ziran is my best friend, my sister. As a man, you must know what men like. You should give Ziran more advice, be her wingman, and make sure she wins her over, okay? Xiao Ye patted his chest and said, no problem. Ziran was overjoyed and almost laughed out loud. Yunbing smiled and said, very good. Ziran, the second point is that you need to have common interests and topics you can talk about. If two people can talk to each other and have common topics, the relationship can heat up quickly and enhance feelings. Ziren nodded vigorously, jotting down notes in her notebook, and then asked, Xiao Ye, what are men's hobbies usually? What topics do they like to talk about? Xiao Ye didn't suspect anything and didn't think about the man Ziren was pursuing being himself, so he said, hobbies? Does looking at beautiful women count? Long legs? Adult films? Most men should like these. Yunbing's face darkened. What nonsense are you talking about? When pursuing a man? Who talks about long legs or adult films? Xiao Ye's lips twitched. Thinking about it, it seemed to make sense. When a girl pursues a man, especially a pretty girl, who would actively talk about adult films? That would be a pervert. He shrugged and said, I don't know about that. Everyone has different preferences. Ziren's lowered face lit up with surprise, her delicate hands gripping the pen and scribbling notes in her notebook. So Xiao Ye liked long legs in adult films. She had all of those. Yunbing rolled her eyes. Ziren, don't listen to his nonsense. Don't write things down randomly. I'll give you 2 examples. He likes watching movies, the proper kind, and he likes playing games, especially 5v5 competitive ones. Ziren asked, Xiao Ye, is what Xiaobing said right? Xiao Ye said, yes. Ziren nodded, inwardly delighted, and said, I understand. Yunbing continued her instruction, saying, thirdly, you need to work on your appearance. Many men like hipsters and uniforms. Your face is pretty enough without makeup. With a little light makeup, you'd probably be even more beautiful. Ziren touched her face. She usually went without makeup. She asked, Xiao Ye, is that so? Xiao Ye smiled and replied, yes, Sister Yunbing is right. Ziren looked down at her notebook, her rosy lips slightly upturned, and asked, what are men's requirements for black stockings, like brands and styles? Xiao Ye pondered, Valentino, with letters, is more alluring, greatly enhancing one's charm. Yunbing chimed in, that's right, Xiao Ye, that lecher, loves black stockings with letters, and I bet many men are like him. However, you're used to wearing purple dresses, so you don't need to deliberately change your style. Ziren looks most beautiful in a purple dress. Xiao Ye added inwardly, most charming. Ziren was overjoyed and quickly started jotting down notes. Yunbing continued her instruction, fourthly, once your relationship has progressed to a certain point, you need to engage in physical contact and create some subtle flirting. This will quickly warm up your feelings. Ziren nodded and asked, Xiao Ye, are there any specific methods? How do you make physical contact and create subtle flirting? Xiao Ye thought for a moment and said, create reasonable and natural scenarios, like holding hands, touching feet, drinking imported cola, washing feet together, etc. Yunbing said irritably, holding hands and touching feet is fine, but imported cola and washing feet together are out of the question. Those are things you can only do after you've established a relationship. Xiao Ye shrugged, you talk too much? Everything you say is right. Ziren's beautiful eyes darted around, choosing to write down Xiao Ye's words and ignoring Yunbing's. Yunbing continued, the 5th point is that both of you understand each other's feelings and confess your love to confirm your relationship. The 6th point is meeting the parents, signing the marriage contract, and consummating the marriage. Xiao Ye said, that's roughly the process. After Ziren finished writing in her notebook, her beautiful eyes brightened as if they had light, and she giggled, okay, I understand now, I'll start pursuing him tomorrow. Yunbing was very excited and said, Ziren, I wish you success. If you succeed, you and your husband can have dinner with us. Ziren smiled, okay. You guys can go back in a couple of days. I have something to do and will stay here for 2 days. We'll go to Shanghai together then. Yunbing had a knowing look on her face and said, no problem, do you need us as wingmen? We'll take care of it. After saying that, the 3 of them went upstairs to rest. The next day arrived quickly. Chapter 379 Xiao Ye, it was actually me. The next morning, Xiao Ye was woken up early by Ziren, who told him to wait for her at the entrance of the main hall on the 1st floor. Still sleepy, Xiao Ye arrived at the entrance of the Alliance Leaders' Hall. A sign next to the door read Day of Rest, indicating that the Alliance leader was not working that day. The hall was deserted. He scratched his head, puzzled, and said, strange, didn't Sister Ziren say she would start pursuing the man she likes today? Why did she wake me up so early? Does she want me to be her wingman? Possibly. It seems Sister Ziren really likes that man. Did he save the galaxy in his past life? He's so lucky. But where is she? Although Xiran had lost her voluptuous figure, her face remained pure and beautiful, with a unique charm, forever embodying the image of a first love in every man's heart, the most beautiful woman in the capital. At this moment, a burly middle-aged figure suddenly appeared beside him. It was the Vice Alliance leader, Xie Mengxuan. He held a stack of documents in his hands and smiled. Young man, these things are very important. They need to be given to Xiran. Listen to you, she's not here right now. Xiao Ye remained expressionless, having a bad impression of Xie Mengxuan, and replied perfunctorily, yes. Xie Mengxuan wasn't annoyed and smiled. Then I'll wait here for her to return and personally give her the documents. You just said that Xiran has fallen for a man? And is even actively pursuing him? He chuckled, shook his head, and said disdainfully, impossible. A woman as proud and disdainful of men as Xiran is destined to be single forever. In his mind, Xiran was a pure and elegant woman untouched by worldly defilement. Such a woman would never lower herself, abandon her pride, and actively pursue a man. Xiao Ye was speechless. If you don't believe me, then don't. Xiran's affairs are none of your business. Xie Mengxuan choked on his words, seeing that Xiao Ye had no intention of talking to him, so he stood aside and waited quietly. 2 minutes passed, and in Xiao Ye's vision, a graceful figure gradually approached from the distance, carrying 2 bags. Xiao Ye and Xie Mengxuan's pupils contracted, both of them startled. Today, Xiran's pretty face was even more delicate, and she looked even more innocent. She was clearly wearing makeup. Xiao Ye. Xiran called out with a look of surprise. She happily ran over, only to find Xie Mengxuan standing beside her, and asked with a strange look, what are you doing here? Xie Mengxuan smiled and said, since you, the alliance leader, are back, I naturally have to hand over some documents to you. After she approached, Xie Mengxuan handed the documents in his hand to Xiran, and then gradually walked away along the road. A look of amazement flashed in Xiao Ye's eyes. With makeup, Xiran was even more beautiful than before. Her face was like a work of art, every detail sculpted perfectly. She was stunningly beautiful, with a beauty that could topple kingdoms, a beauty that could shame the moon and flowers, a lotus emerging from the water, bright eyes and white teeth, and supple skin. Xiran winked playfully, asking expectantly, is it pretty? Xiao Ye nodded, it's gorgeous. Receiving a response, Xiran's joy intensified. She reached into the bag and pulled out 2 cups of cola. Then, under Xiao Ye's surprised gaze, she inserted straws, handed them to him, and smiled, iced cola with ice. I bought it myself at the capital's market. Here, drink up. For me? Xiao Ye was surprised. Xiran nodded firmly, yes, I bought it especially for you. Not far away, Xie Mengxuan stood by the roadside, eavesdropping. Just friends buying drinks, he sneered. Xiao Ye asked, puzzled, why did you buy it for me? Did you want me to be your wingman to pursue the man you like? Where is he? Xiran smiled, her pretty face flushing slightly with shyness. Yes, I'm pursuing the man I like. I got up early to buy him an iced cola. You have to be a good wingman, okay? Here, it'll melt you if you don't drink it soon. Drink it quickly. She held the iced cola in her delicate white hands, her beautiful eyes expectant, and said reproachfully, ah, this. Xiao Ye was shocked. He looked around, saw no one else, then looked at the cola in front of him and said, is this really for me? Xiran said reproachfully, there's only one man here, who else would I buy it for if not you? Xiao Ye froze on the spot. He wasn't stupid, he understood the implication in Xiran's words. She meant that the man she liked was actually him? Xiran wanted to pursue him and even wanted him to be her wingman? Yesterday, he offered advice, promising to help Xiran win him over. Win him over? Win him over himself? He guaranteed Xiran would win him over? Wait. My thoughts are all jumbled up, I need some peace and quiet. Xiao Ye rubbed his temples. Xiran wrinkled her nose. Who's peace and quiet? Don't think about peace and quiet, drink your iced cola. You said you'd be my wingman, you had to help me win Xiao Ye over, you have to keep your word. She shoved the iced cola with a straw into Xiao Ye's mouth. Xiao Ye subconsciously took a sip. It was icy and refreshing, the bubbles bursting in his mouth, it tasted amazing. Is it good? Xiran's beautiful eyes were expectant. Xiao Ye nodded, somewhat bewildered, and said, it's good. You want to win Xiao Ye over, and you want me to be your wingman? I'll help you win Xiao Ye over. Isn't that just me helping you win over myself? Ziren smiled happily, her eyes crinkling into two beautiful crescent moons. Not far away, Xie Mengxuan froze, his mind reeling. Pursuing Xiao Ye? How could such words possibly come from Ziren's mouth? She was a pure and innocent woman, utterly disdainful of men. Ziren took 2 sips of her iced cola, her brows furrowing slightly, feeling unwell. She didn't like iced cola, she preferred milk tea. But seeing Xiao Ye drinking it so readily, she endured her discomfort and forced herself to finish her iced cola. Xiao Ye asked, "Are you feeling unwell? Can't you drink anything cold?" Ziren shook her head and smiled, "I can drink iced drinks these days, I just rarely drink cola." Then, she collected the empty iced cola bowl and mysteriously smiled, "I'm wearing black stockings. Want to see?" She bent down and lifted her purple skirt, revealing a pair of long legs. Black stockings. High class, mysterious. Long legs adorned with high class and mysterious-looking high-quality stockings. Xiao Ye glanced over instinctively, then his pupils contracted. It was black stockings with letters on them. Ziren chuckled quietly, "They're Valentino stockings. What do you think? Do you like them? I know you like jade feet. Want to touch them?" Xiao Ye swallowed hard and waved his hand, saying, "Sister Ziren, who said I like jade feet? I'm a respectable person, don't slander me." Ziren rolled her eyes dramatically. "Don't lie. You say you don't like them, but your eyes haven't left my feet for a second. You said it yourself yesterday, you like long legs and feet." Xiao Ye's face flushed with embarrassment. He had indeed said that. But that was to help Ziren pursue a man, who knew that this man would be himself. Chapter 380 Ziren, let's watch a short film together. Not far away, Xie Mengxuan was stunned. His eyes widened, filled with disbelief. Ziren, she's actually wearing black stockings? And she even lifted her skirt and raised her foot to show that young man? No, how could that be? How could Ziren wear something like black stockings, something only worldly women wear? He rubbed his eyes hard and looked again carefully. He really did see Ziren's black stockings, with the word Xiao Ye exclusive printed on them. Holy crap! Xie Mengxuan felt his understanding had been completely overturned. The elegant and holy goddess had fallen to the mortal world. Ziren, the first love of so many people, was really going to actively pursue a man. "No, my goddess," he cried out in his heart in sorrow. The north wind howled, and dust swirled. He stood there alone, looking somewhat lonely and sad. A black crow flew overhead, crying loudly. In the breeze, Xie Mengxuan walked away dejectedly, his back view somewhat forlorn. Xiao Ye and Ziren paid no attention to him the whole time. Xiao Ye sipped his iced cola, tentatively asking, "Sister Ziren, is the man you're pursuing really Xiao Ye?" Ziren blushed slightly, her beautiful eyes lowered, and said, "Oh, good to know, don't say it out loud." Xiao Ye scratched his head, "Is there anyone in this world named Xiao Ye?" Ziren chuckled, "Probably not." She thought to herself, "Ever since you saw me naked, touched me naked, and gave me a great sense of security, I've decided on you and I'm determined to get you. Xiao Ye, we're in luck for lunch. I've spent a fortune to invite a renowned chef from our Supreme Alliance, a supreme-level state banquet chef, whose culinary skills rank among the top 10 in the culinary world," she said excitedly. Xiao Ye nodded absent-mindedly and said, "If you're really capable, go ahead and pursue me. Let's see if you can win my heart. Be very careful of Sister Yunbing. If she finds out you're pursuing me, she'll go ballistic." Ziren shrank back, saying sheepishly, "It's all right." The four of them, the four best friends, had sworn long ago to marry the same man. She was doing this to keep her vow. The two entered the side hall and sat down on the sofa. Ziren sat down next to Xiao Ye, took off her shoes, lifted her skirt to reveal her long legs, and placed them on the tea table, completely exposing them to Xiao Ye's view. She said, "Xiao Ye, let's watch a porn movie together tonight." Xiao Ye's gaze was drawn to her, and he nodded, "Okay, I'll invite Sister Yunbing too, the three of us will watch together." Ziren, however, shook her head violently, saying, "No way. We want to watch an action art porn movie. We have a shared interest, how can we invite Xiaobing to watch it with us?" Xiao Ye's eyes widened, and he glared at her. "What kind of porn movie did you say?" Ziren's pretty face flushed. "You know, those kinds of porn movies, don't you like watching them? I've collected a lot." Xiao Ye's face fell. "Don't talk nonsense, I'm a respectable person, I never watch those kinds of indecent porn movies. Also, if you're trying to woo someone, how can you do that, watching that with a guy? Ziran placed her leg on Xiao Ye's lap, pulled out a small notebook, and waved it around, teasingly saying, "You told me yourself, I wrote it all down. Want me to show it to you? What's wrong with us watching that together? We finally have common interests and topics to discuss. I don't believe you weren't looking at the female protagonist's slim waist, long legs, and big waves when you watched that." Xiao Ye's face turned even more embarrassed. He couldn't admit it, saying, "It just feels a little strange. Ziran, a woman, is actually talking to him about this." Looking down, he was shocked. On the long, shapely black stockings, next to the letters, were the words Xiao Ye exclusive. Ziran smiled. "Isn't it beautiful? These black stockings were also custom made by me." She ran her small hand over them a few times, nodding and praising, "As expected of the supreme grade ice silk material I requested, I love the feel of it." Xiao Ye's lips twitched. "A pair of stockings, and you even used supreme grade ice silk material to make them custom made?" He shook his head and said, "Sister Ziran, your stockings are both a blessing and a curse because of the ice silk material. Although they feel good and are comfortable to wear, they..." Ziran's smile froze. "But what about them? Keep going." Xiao Ye's evaluation was very important to her. Xiao Ye's lips twitched, thinking to himself, "But they're hard to tear. Stockings made of supreme grade materials are like defensive treasures, only supreme level power can break them." Seeing that he didn't speak, Ziran was a little frustrated. She rubbed her ankle with her small hands and murmured, "They're quite smooth, and feel good. Stockings have other uses? I can't think of any. Oh well, I'll probably find out when I watch a porn movie tonight." Thump, thump, thump. Sounds came from the stairwell. Ziran quickly put her feet down, put on her shoes, and sat up straight. Xiao Ye was dumbfounded. "You're chasing someone so secretly?" Ziran felt a little guilty, as if she had let her best friend down. She held up a slender white finger in front of her rosy lips and said, "SHH. Don't talk nonsense. Once I've won you over, I'll tell Xiao Bing myself." "Xiao Ye. Win me over? What kind of wild words are those?" Yun Bing yawned and walked down in a daze. She went to the side hall and sat down next to Xiao Ye. She said, "What are you guys doing?" "Oh, Xiao Ye, you bought an iced cola? Why didn't you get me one?" "I didn't buy it, it was..." Before Xiao Ye could finish speaking, Ziran coughed and interrupted, "I bought it to reward Xiao Ye for being my wingman." She looked away guiltily. "Never mind if you don't have any." Yun Bing wasn't fully awake yet and didn't pay much attention. She mumbled, "Ziran, what do you Supreme Alliance eat for breakfast? Steamed buns and soy milk?" Ziran, on Xiao Ye's other side, secretly took his hand and replied, "Yes, we eat about the same things in Shanghai and Beijing for breakfast, but we're not having breakfast today. We're having a big meal for lunch. I've already contacted the Supreme Alliance's Supreme-level state banquet chef to order 8 national dishes. He should personally deliver the finished dishes to our door later." Yun Bing clicked her tongue in amazement and said enviously, "You're really comfortable being the alliance leader. You have a state banquet chef under you, and a supreme level one at that. This level is incomparable to ordinary state banquet chefs." Xiao Ye felt Ziran tickling his palm and his eyes widened. "This is too bold. Cheating in front of Sister Yun Bing." Then Ziran took their hands out from under her purple dress and waved them in midair. Xiao Ye was shocked and thought to himself, "Wow, that's awesome." Ziran said coquettishly, "Xiao Bing, I want to practice holding hands with a man with Xiao Ye first, is that okay?" Yun Bing glanced at her and said indifferently, "Using Xiao Ye as a guinea pig, huh? No problem." After saying that, she added, "Xiao Ye, you have to cooperate well with Ziran, you must help her win that man over, or I'll break all 3 of your legs." Ziran chuckled, winked playfully, and said, "Xiao Ye, did you hear that? You have to help me win him over, or Xiao Bing will break all 3 of your legs." Xiao Ye's lips twitched, a torrent of MMP running through his mind. "Help you pursue myself?" Chapter 381. Yun Bing senses something is wrong. Xiao Ye glared fiercely at Ziran. "Don't let Sister Yun Bing see your stockings," he thought. The black stockings had the word Xiao Ye's exclusive on them. If Sister Yun Bing saw them, everything would be revealed. She'd tear you apart. She considers you her best friend, and you flirt with her man right in front of her, Trying to take advantage of him? Ziran's beautiful eyes narrowed into two crescent moons, her pure and exquisite face full of smiles. She squeezed Xiao Ye's hand in response to his glare. Xiao Ye's lips twitched. Being openly teased and pranked by Ziran in front of Yun Bing actually gave him a thrilling feeling. He actually felt thrilled? Hiss. Xiao Ye felt his purity was fading. Ziran said, Xiao Bing, thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity in letting Xiao Ye be my practice subject. Once I have experience, I won't be so clumsy when pursuing that man, and my success rate will be much higher. Looking at Ziran's sincere eyes and natural, composed expression, Xiao Ye gave her a thumbs up. If this person were in her past life, she would definitely have won an Oscar for Best Actor. Yun Bing waved her hand and smiled, no need to thank me. As your good sister, this is nothing. Ziran's smile widened. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock at the door. Ziran grabbed Xiao Ye's rough hand and stood up, saying, it's Chef Jin. He should have cooked the dishes and rice. With that, she pulled Xiao Ye along, and in front of Yun Bing, gracefully walked towards the door. A plump, middle-aged man with small eyes was ushered in. Alliance leader, after a sleepless night of meticulous preparation, I have prepared all 8 precious dishes you requested. As he spoke, his small eyes were fixed on the hands clasped together by Ziran and Xiao Ye. Jin Peng was secretly surprised. Who is this person? The alliance leader was so intimate with him. He looked very young, but very handsome, much more handsome than himself. Was he the alliance leader's younger brother? Jin Peng followed Ziran and Xiao Ye to the dining table in the side hall. He took out one steaming, exquisite dish after another from his storage ring: braised lion's head meatballs, steamed tiger tail, stir-fried lion king turtle, braised sea cucumber, slime sashimi, and raw marinated goblin kidneys. A variety of rich aromas wafted out, filling the entire side hall. 6 dishes in total, all made with supreme-grade ingredients. Please enjoy. His small eyes narrowed into slits with a smile, almost disappearing. Xiao Ye swallowed hard. Ziran, her rosy lips curved into a smile, picked up her chopsticks and placed a goblin kidney in front of his mouth, her beautiful eyes pleading, it's delicious, open your mouth. Xiao Ye opened his mouth, and Ziran shoved the goblin kidney into his mouth. He bit down. Pop! Juice burst out, filling his mouth. It was very fresh, accompanied by delicious broth, without the slightest fishy taste. Ziran, her pretty face full of anticipation, asked, is it good? Xiao Ye smiled, delicious. This is the most delicious kidney I've ever eaten. Ziran picked up another goblin kidney and put it in Xiao Ye's mouth, saying, if it's good, eat more. I can let you eat it every day. Xiao Ye was shocked. Eating supreme-level cuisine every day? This was a rich woman. Yun Bing stared blankly at the two of them, one of her chopsticks falling onto the table. Her eyebrows furrowed, a slight pang of bitterness rising in her heart, but she said nothing. Xiao Ye was just being used as a guinea pig. Jin Peng stood quietly to the side, his small eyes wide with shock. This was definitely not the alliance leader's younger brother, but the alliance leader's lover. If you were serving food to your brother, you could just put it in his bowl, not in his mouth. Holy crap, my goodness. The alliance leader, the most beautiful woman in the capital, is actually taken. This is huge news. This is even more explosive than the fall of the Holy Realm. Alliance leader, I've delivered the food, so I'll take my leave now. Just tell me what you want to eat next time. He chuckled awkwardly, his small eyes filled with shock, and turned to leave. After serving Xiao Ye 2 goblin kidneys, Ziran ate one herself, her pretty face full of enjoyment. She said, I didn't dare eat too many of these kidneys before, afraid it would increase my desires and I wouldn't have a man to satisfy them, but from now on, I can eat as much as I want. Xiao Ye was startled. What was Ziran implying? It was terrifying to think about. Yun Bing laughed heartily as she ate her food. Ha ha ha, Ziran, you've become a slut. You're no longer the pure saintess. How could you say something like that? You should thank me. I gave you advice and made Xiao Ye your guinea pig. Ziran's pretty face lit up with a smile. She licked her chopsticks, then picked up a goblin kidney and held it to Xiao Ye's lips, saying, to reward you, Xiao Ye, eat more. Xiao Bing, don't eat this. Let Xiao Ye and me eat it. The other 5 dishes are yours. Xiao Ye opened his mouth in surprise. You've already eaten from these chopsticks, if I eat from them too, Isn't it like an indirect kiss? Taking advantage of Xiao Ye's open mouth, Ziran shoved the chopsticks into his mouth, letting him eat the goblin kidney. Xiao Ye looked at Yunbing beside him, a slight thrill rising within him. Since Ziran didn't seem to care, he didn't hold back either, taking a bite of the goblin kidney and swallowing it. Yunbing, looking at the goblin kidney dish she was almost halfway through, nodded and said, "No problem, I don't need this." Goblins were a perverted race, constantly breeding or on their way to breed. Their sexual prowess was hundreds of times greater than humans. Their kidneys were said to cause monks to break their vows repeatedly due to their bestial instincts, and nuns to become lustful. Ziran laughed, completely unconcerned that Xiao Ye had eaten from her chopsticks. She picked up a goblin kidney for herself, ate it, and then licked the chopsticks clean. Then, she picked up another one and offered it to Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye's lips twitched, and he said, "Sister Ziran, you eat. My cultivation level is too low, eating too much will cause me to go berserk." Ziran smiled and said, "Don't worry, it's fine. I'll eat too." Xiao Ye was secretly surprised. What did she mean by that? He didn't dare to think about it. Yunbing felt something was off when she heard this, but she couldn't quite put her finger on it. So she said, "Ziran, you're living a really carefree life. You have such a squint-eyed chef, eating delicacies every day." Ziran pouted, "He's someone I trained and mentored, using up a lot of resources. What's wrong with him cooking me a meal? Don't be fooled by his cooking skills. He's a chatterbox and can't keep secrets. He tells everyone everything." Yunbing shrugged and said dismissively, "Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. Don't just focus on his weaknesses." Ziran smiled but didn't reply, continuing to serve Xiao Ye some snacks. After finishing the meal, Xiao Ye ate half of the yogurt, Ziran ate the other half, and Yunbing didn't eat a single bite. Chapter 382 Ziran, "Xiao Ye, does he like me?" Xiao Ye touched his slightly protruding belly and exclaimed, "The food prepared by a supreme-level state banquet chef is indeed incomparable to that of ordinary chefs. No wonder he's one of the top 10 chefs in the country." Ziran mimicked his gesture, touching her flat stomach through her purple dress and laughing, "If you could stay in the Supreme Alliance, you could eat like this every day." Yunbing tilted her head, looking at the two sprawled on the sofa, their movements perfectly synchronized, giving her the illusion that they were a couple, even resembling a married couple. But this illusion vanished in an instant. In Yunbing's perception, Ziran seemed easy to get along with, but she was extremely proud and looked down on those with lower cultivation levels than her, or those who weren't as excellent as her. Therefore, Yunbing didn't think that Ziran had feelings for Xiao Ye. Ziran said, "Xiao Bing, tidy up a bit, Xiao Ye and I need to lie down for a bit." Yunbing rolled her eyes, "You, Ziran, I'm a guest in the Supreme Alliance, and you treat me like a servant?" Saying this, Yunbing got up and started clearing the table. Ziran took Xiao Ye's rough, large hand and placed it on her flat stomach, laughing, "Touch mine too." Xiao Ye rubbed her stomach with his large hand. It was flat without an ounce of fat. Then, Ziran placed her small feet in Xiao Ye's lap, saying, "Warm my feet." Xiao Ye's eyes widened. "You actually dared to do this in front of Yunbing? You're so brave." Looking down, he saw two small feet wrapped in thin, black silk stockings, half of which were tucked into his shirt, only their slender ankles showing. So brave. Xiao Ye immediately touched them. The feel was wonderful. After clearing the table, Yunbing turned around and her beautiful eyes widened. A twitch appeared at the corner of her mouth as she said, "Ziran, you don't need to go this far with your practice. Xiao Ye has taken advantage of you all." Ziran smiled happily, "I want to practice with Xiao Ye first. That way, when I flirt with my man later, I'll have experience and won't be nervous or too shy." This explanation was reasonable. Yunbing nodded and said, "Whatever you want, as long as it's not too outrageous, like biting your lip or something." Her gaze shifted, and she saw Xiao Ye's expression of enjoyment. In an instant, a sour feeling rose in her heart, a bittersweet feeling, like jealousy. So, Yunbing sat down on the other side of Xiao Ye, kicked off her shoes, and put her small feet inside Xiao Ye's shirt. Her small hand pinched the soft flesh of his back and rotated it 360 degrees. Hiss! Xiao Ye gasped, crying out in pain. He was experiencing both pain and pleasure. With Yunbing in his left arm and Ziran in his right, Xiao Ye sighed inwardly, "If only they were all my beast girls." Yunbing's jade feet frolicked in Xiao Ye's arms with Ziran's little feet, making him very ticklish. So Xiao Ye grabbed both of their feet tightly in his arms, one hand feeling smooth and the other cold. He said, "Stop messing around, what if you give me athlete's foot?" Ziran and Yunbing's beautiful eyes widened simultaneously, and they said in unison, "You're the one with athlete's foot." Yunbing said reproachfully, "Do you want me to put my foot in your mouth and let you taste it to see if you have athlete's foot?" Ziran covered her mouth and laughed, "I can let you taste it too." Xiao Ye shrank his neck, shook his head violently, and said with an embarrassed smile, "No need, you don't have athlete's foot." HMPH. Yunbing snorted, "You say Ziran has athlete's foot, fine, but don't think I don't know you secretly nibble on me when I'm asleep at night, not even sparing my little feet, and you still say I have athlete's foot." Ziran opened her mouth in surprise. "Xiao Ye, are you that perverted?" Xiao Ye's face turned red with embarrassment, and he said awkwardly, "No, Sister Yunbing is too sleepy to know anything." Yunbing snorted and didn't refute, giving him face. Ziran's beautiful eyes darted around, sparkling with a sharp light, as if she were deep in thought. Yunbing asked, "Ziran, how far have things progressed between you and that guy?" Ziran was taken aback by the question. She glanced at Xiao Ye without leaving a trace, then looked away, saying with some worry, "I've made some efforts, and he probably knows my feelings, but he just hasn't expressed his true feelings. He neither rejects nor accepts me." Yunbing's face darkened. "Neither rejects nor accepts? Isn't that just being a scumbag?" "Ziran, you need to open your eyes wide. He's stringing you along." Ziran nodded and asked, "Xiao Ye, do you think someone like that, stringing me along, is a scumbag?" Xiao Ye? Why was she being asked this? Of course, he wouldn't admit to being a scumbag. He said, "No, perhaps he has his own unspeakable difficulties." Ziran seemed thoughtful. Yunbing said helplessly, "All right, Ziran, can you sense that he likes you?" Ziran was a little depressed, glanced at Xiao Ye, and said softly, "I feel like he likes me, but I'm not sure." Yunbing laughed, "Ha ha ha, Ziran, a pure goddess like you, actually has such a melancholy and depressed moment." Ziran became even more depressed and said, "The men who like me could line up from the capital to Shanghai, but that man, I really can't say for sure." "Xiao Ye, as a man, do you think he likes me?" Ziran stared straight at him, a hint of nervousness appearing on her pretty face. Cough cough. Xiao Ye almost choked on his own saliva, coughed, and said, "I'm not him, how would I know?" Upon receiving a response, the light in Ziran's beautiful eyes dimmed, her pretty face stiffened, and she felt very disappointed. Xiao Ye's voice paused for a moment before continuing, "But Sister Ziran, you're so charming, any man would like you, wanting nothing more than to hold you in his arms and kiss you passionately." Yunbing retorted irritably, "Don't be so lewd. I agree with the first half, but forget the second. What do you mean by holding you in his arms and kissing you? Not all men are as lecherous as you." Ziran's beautiful eyes regained their brightness, and her smile blossomed like a flower. She nodded earnestly and said, "I understand." Yunbing stretched and said, "Xiao Ye, let's go for a walk around the Supreme Alliance. Since joining, there are so many places I haven't been to." Ziran gripped Xiao Ye's hand tightly and said, "Yunbing, you go alone. Xiao Ye will stay here as my practice partner. I need to practice properly for a couple of days, otherwise I won't have another chance." Yunbing's lips twitched, wanting to refuse, but seeing Ziran's pleading gaze, she helplessly said, "Fine, I'll go for a walk by myself then." Ziran laughed, took out a token from her waist, and tossed it to Yunbing, saying, "Thanks, this is the Alliance Leader's token. It grants you free access to all parts of the Supreme Alliance. You can go wherever you want." Yunbing grabbed the token and chuckled, "Then I won't be polite, he." With that, she left, departing from the Alliance Leader's hall. Xiao Ye's eyes suddenly widened. He saw Ziran press herself against him, pouting her lips and kissing him. He was on the verge of tears. He'd actually been forcibly kissed. Chapter 383 Ziran, my cheeks are swollen from being kissed. Ziran's kiss was cool and soft, very moist and unique. Xiao Ye was stunned, his mind went blank, and he was at a loss for what to do. 2 seconds later, the two separated, and Xiao Ye wiped the drool from his mouth, saying, "Sister Ziran, you were messing around while Yunbing wasn't here." Ziran stuck out her little mouth and licked around her rosy lips. The feeling of biting her lips was surprisingly wonderful. Like soaking in a hot spring, her whole body was tingling and very comfortable. Just a moment ago, her heart, which had been frozen for over 1,000 years as a single dog, had rippled, started pounding, became excited and throbbing, and felt very real. Ziran's beautiful eyes stared at him longingly. She really wanted to kiss him a few more times. She seemed a little unsatisfied, saying, "I didn't do anything inappropriate, it was just a little biting. It's perfectly normal for couples to do these things." Xiao Ye's lips twitched, "But we're not a couple. The way you're doing this makes me feel like I'm cheating on Yunbing, making me feel very guilty and ashamed towards her." Ziran rolled her eyes, speechless. "Come on, don't think I don't know. In Shanghai, besides Xiaobing, you have 4 other beast girls. If you feel guilty towards Xiaobing, why didn't you feel guilty towards those 4 beast girls when you made a contract with Xiaobing?" Xiao Ye choked on his words, opening his mouth but having nothing to say. Ziran smiled and said, "I get it. You think I'm her best friend, and you're using me as a guinea pig to cheat on her with her, and that's why you feel guilty?" Xiao Ye's eyes lit up, and he nodded vigorously, saying, "Yes, yes, that's it." Ziran snorted and said dismissively, "It's okay. The 4 of us sisters made a vow before to marry the same man together. You don't need to feel guilty." Xiao Ye's lips twitched, and he said righteously, "Anyway, don't cross the line until Sister Yunbing agrees." Ziran looked at his handsome face and his serious expression, and chuckled, "No problem, I'll find a way to get Xiaobing to agree." In her mind, she added, "You look so upright, and you speak so seriously, but your eyes have been glued to my legs for a second. Humph, a guy with lust but no guts." Then, Ziran sat on Xiao Ye's lap, her slender arms encircling his neck. Her beautiful eyes looked directly into his, and she asked earnestly, "Xiao Ye, was what I answered earlier true?" Xiao Ye looked blank. "What?" Ziran sat on his lap, yet he didn't feel her weight. She was very light. A faint, pleasant fragrance wafted from her. Xiao Ye guessed that this fragrance wasn't the overly strong perfume that cosmetics spray on themselves, but rather a natural, light body scent, a fundamental difference. Ziran's heart sank, and she felt downcast. Xiao Ye hadn't taken her words to heart, meaning he had given a casual answer when Xiaobing asked her not long ago. Seeing her disappointed expression, Xiao Ye felt a sudden panic and hurriedly said, "What answer? Why don't you ask again, and I'll answer seriously again." PFFT. Ziran laughed. He was actually worried about her disappointment. Her smile, her pure and pretty face blooming like a mountain of flowers, was absolutely stunning. Xiao Ye was completely mesmerized. Ziran lowered her beautiful eyes, her pretty face slightly flushed, a little shy, and asked, "Xiao Ye, do you like me? Do you like Ziran?" This. Xiao Ye frowned. To be honest, he hadn't spent much time with Ziran, and didn't have any romantic feelings for her yet. He could only say that he was attracted to her body. Ziran felt a little flustered, her pretty face tense, and she said reproachfully, "Just tell me, the truth is fine." Xiao Ye had no choice but to tell the truth, saying, "I like her a little, but not much." Ziran frowned. Just a little? It seemed her charm hadn't been fully revealed yet, hadn't made Xiao Ye completely fall for her. She still needed to put in a lot of effort. Thinking of Xiao Ye's preferences, Ziran smiled, revealing a mischievous smile, a hint of allure appearing on her pure and pretty face, and pouted as she leaned towards Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye suddenly raised his hand and covered her face, saying, "Sister Ziran, don't do this, I'm a decent person." Having failed to kiss her, a hint of resentment appeared in Ziran's beautiful eyes. She said softly, "You're the one who got the better deal, HMPH, a bastard with lust but no guts. How about this, you kiss me once, and I'll give you a high-grade grand venerable crystal core, how about that?" Her lips curled slightly. Xiao Ye's eyes widened as he looked at her exquisitely beautiful, pure face and her alluring, rosy lips, feeling a surge of attraction. However, he had his limits. He quickly composed himself and waved his hand, saying, "No, I'm not the kind of man who would sell his body for money." Ziran bit her lower lip, her face hardening, and said, "I'll pay more. You kiss me once, and I'll give you 2 high-grade grand venerable crystal cores, how about that?" Xiao Ye. If this wasn't Yunbing's best friend, he would have already pounced on her and kissed her 100 times, until her lips were swollen. However, Ziran was Yunbing's best friend. Although he was very tempted, he didn't want to do anything to betray Yunbing. Seeing the struggle on Xiao Ye's face, Ziran's rosy lips curled up even wider. HMPH. Just a bastard with lustful thoughts but no guts. She lifted her purple skirt, revealing her 2 long legs encased in black stockings to Xiao Ye's view, and smiled. If you kiss me once, I'll not only give you 2 high-grade grand venerable crystal cores, but I'll also let you touch my legs. How about it? Hiss. Xiao Ye felt his Dao heart was about to shatter. He pounced on her, saying, I'm just being your guinea pig, helping you practice your biting skills, don't overthink it. Ziran's mouth was blocked, her beautiful eyes widened, unable to speak. This time, the feeling was even stronger than before. Her long dormant heart began to beat joyfully again. Cool, soft, and very moist. Xiao Ye held her little head and nibbled at it once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 50 times, 80 times, 120 times. Only when Ziran was a little out of breath did Xiao Ye release her. Ziran's eyes were filled with affection. Just now, she felt like a small boat sailing on a boundless sea, enduring wave after wave of surging waves, making her heart pound and her mind wander. She was completely moved. In this life, she, Ziran, had chosen Xiao Ye. She thought firmly to herself. Xiao Ye wiped the water from her mouth and laughed. Are you satisfied now? 120 times in total. You owe me 240 high-grade grand venerable crystal cores and 240 chances to touch my legs. Ziran rolled her eyes, her lips slightly swollen from being kissed, and said, You're getting a good deal and still acting innocent. You've already kissed me so much it hurts. Xiao Ye shrugged, reached out and placed his hand on her black silk stockings, and laughed. I'm very generous, so I'll waive the crystal cores. Chapter 384 Watching Porn, Ziran Gets Jealous. Ziran chuckled playfully, how about you forego the leg-touching opportunity, and I'll give you 240 crystal cores? Xiao Ye, with a righteous and awe-inspiring expression, said seriously, no way. Giving you crystal cores would cause you financial loss. Xiao Ye, I'm not the kind of person who would sell my body for money. Ziran said speechlessly, when you say that, could you take your big hand off my leg? Xiao Ye shook his head firmly, no. Ziran rolled her eyes. After touching her leg for 240 seconds, Xiao Ye made Ziran remove it and then hurriedly ran into the bathroom. He didn't come out until 20 minutes later. Ziran's beautiful eyes swept over him, and she asked in surprise, you finished so quickly? Didn't Xiao Bing say you last at least an hour? Xiao Ye looked blankly at her and said, I went to the toilet. What's that all about finishing? Seeing the I know, don't lie to me look on her pretty face, Xiao Ye realized and his face darkened. Sister Ziran, you're the #1 beauty in the capital, the leader of dozens of supreme experts, a person of high status and great power, how can you be so filthy? I went to the toilet, and you actually associated it with, you know. Ziran looked completely puzzled and muttered, I learned it from adult films, it shouldn't be wrong. Xiao Ye. He gave her a thumbs up and said speechlessly, awesome. You can actually learn something from adult films, no wonder your sister Ziran. Ziran shook her head and said nonchalantly, it's okay, I'll have a chance to personally verify your stamina in the future. I'll know how long you last. Xiao Ye's eyes widened. What kind of lewd words were these? Too audacious. He clutched his chest, took a step back, and said defensively, Sister Ziran, I never thought you were this kind of person. My wife Yanbing treats you like a best friend, and you're actually lusting after her man's body. Ziran snorted, I'm still a virgin. You'll get lucky in the future, so be grateful. Humph. Alright, Xiao Bing's not here, shouldn't we do something? Xiao Ye took 2 more steps back and said, no, absolutely not. I have my bottom line. Ziran understood what he meant, her pretty face darkening. Don't overthink it. We need to at least sign a contract first. Do you think I'm that easy? I'm a very traditional woman. A traditional woman? Xiao Ye looked at her swollen lips, completely unconvinced. However, signing a contract with Ziran required Yanbing's consent. Ziran stretched and smiled charmingly, saying, alright, I won't tease you anymore. Let's go watch a porn movie while Xiao Bing's not around. Her little notebook was filled with notes on shared interests and subtle flirtations that could quickly enhance their relationship. She and Xiao Ye both enjoyed watching adult films, and she hoped that watching them would make Xiao Ye like her even more. Xiao Ye was stunned. Watch a porn movie? Just the 2 of us? Ziran walked lightly to the ground, took his hand, and smiled faintly. Yes, Just the two of us. Don't hesitate, let's go. Xiao Ye lowered his head and thought. Was watching a porn movie with Ziran really a good idea? What if he got carried away? Ziran led Xiao Ye to the third floor of the Alliance Leaders Hall, to the private rest area. In the living room, she drew all the curtains, making it impossible to see inside, and the room became dimly lit. Then, Ziran took out a projector, projecting a light screen onto the curtains. Instantly, the image appeared on the curtains. Xiao Ye and Ziran sat close together on the sofa, their eyes fixed on the screen. Age warning, under 18 years of age, please watch with adult supervision to avoid harm to your mental and physical health. 91 Media. The screen displayed 4 large characters at the top, followed by lines of warnings. Finally, it listed the production company, 91 Media. Xiao Ye's eyes widened in shock. He thought to himself, it really is a pornographic film. He usually watched alone, but today, he was watching it with a stunningly beautiful woman, Ziran, the most beautiful woman in the capital. To be honest, he felt a little excited. No, not just a little, but extremely excited. Ziran stared intently, her pretty face excited, and said, Xiao Ye, this is one of my treasured films. I have many more like this. We can watch them together every day. Xiao Ye was stunned. Every day? With Ziran? The screen on the curtains changed, the plot unfolded, and characters appeared. The title was, Early Spring Awakening. Clearly, this film was carefully selected by Ziran. This perfectly reflected Ziran's current state of mind. Ziran smiled and said, Xiao Ye, look at this female protagonist's figure, isn't it not as good as mine before? Xiao Ye nodded, yes. Ziran said somewhat unwillingly, my figure isn't as good as hers now, but that might not be the case in the future. Xiao Ye nodded, yes. Turning her head, Ziran found that Xiao Ye's gaze was fixed on the screen, and he hadn't heard what she was saying at all. HMPH. She snorted, jealous. On the other side, within the Supreme Alliance area, a rumor swept through. Have you heard? The Alliance leader is in love. Of course I've heard, the Alliance leader has a gigolo. Nonsense, that's clearly the Alliance leader's secret lover. Really? Where did you hear that? Chef Jin said it himself, it can't be false. The patrol team stopped and gathered together, excitedly discussing. Some Supremas walked over, and after hearing these words, their faces were filled with sorrow. What Jin Zizan said, it's probably true. Ah, my goddess, I'm heartbroken. Finally, she's taken. The most beautiful woman in the capital has found her match. I didn't expect the Alliance leader to like pretty boys. Should I learn some plastic surgery? You're kidding. You're a 2-meter tall, muscular tough guy with a fierce face. Nobody dares approach you just standing there. Become a pretty boy? Only someone with a normal build like me can become a pretty boy. As time passed, the news spread further and further, becoming increasingly outrageous. Yun Bing, holding the Alliance leader's token, arrived at the grand hall in the cultivation area. The hall doors were open, but a group of people were gathered at the entrance, blocking the way, excitedly discussing something. Among their words were the Alliance leader and pretty boys, which piqued Yun Bing's curiosity. The Alliance leader, in the Supreme Alliance, was none other than Ziran. She approached, pricked up her ears, and what she heard shocked her greatly. The crowd was buzzing with gossip. The Alliance leader is already taken, they've signed a contract. You tell me, I know something even more shocking. She and that pretty boy already have a 1-year-old child. You're talking nonsense. 1-year-old? She clearly has 3 children. Yun Bing's face darkened. What was all this? Hearing the increasingly outrageous rumors, she flew into a rage. Unleashing her full supreme aura, she grabbed the low-level supreme who was talking about 3 children and demanded, who spread these rumors? The low-level supreme, who had only recently joined the Supreme Alliance, swallowed hard and stammered, Supreme Golden Rock said it himself, we didn't make it up. Golden Rock? Yun Bing gritted her teeth, each word dripping from her lips, revealing the extent of her anger. Hey, who's calling me? A plump, squinted-eyed middle-aged man walking along the main road stopped when he heard someone calling him. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 385 Yunbing catches her husband cheating. Yunbing turned her head and saw a fat, squinted-eyed man standing blankly by the roadside. Yes, that's him, that's Jin Peng. He's the one who spread the rumors, we're just repeating his words. What pretty boy, what child, he's the one who spread them all. The early stage supreme hurriedly shifted the blame to Jin Peng. Yunbing's face was cold, her beautiful eyes filled with rage, and she slammed the early stage supreme to the ground. The early stage supreme breathed a sigh of relief. He was drenched in cold sweat, his back soaked through. Yunbing rushed to Jin Peng, pointing at him angrily, "It's you. Cooking a meal has caused so many rumors to spread, you deserve to die." Ziran and Xiao Ye were her best friend and her husband, respectively. Jin Peng's slander against them enraged Yunbing. Jin Peng squinted, his small eyes widening in surprise, and innocently asked, "What rumors have I spread?" Yunbing's anger flared even more, and she cursed, "You're still pretending to be innocent? You're really shameless. Open your eyes wider, are you looking down on me with those squinted eyes?" The people gossiping at the entrance of the hall said with disdain, "The alliance leader is keeping a gigolo, isn't that what he said?" "Exactly, he said it, but he's not admitting it, is he? Not only that, the alliance leader has children, 3 children already, and he said it all. I was wondering why the alliance leader, such a pure and innocent person, would suddenly have a gigolo, so it's just a rumor. Damn, this guy deserves to die, he's just spreading rumors, isn't he afraid of being punished by the alliance leader?" Jin Peng's face darkened, and he said, "My eyes are naturally small, I've already opened them as wide as I can. What nonsense are these people talking about? When did I say the alliance leader is keeping a gigolo? I only said that the alliance leader is in love with a very young and handsome person. Everything else is just embellishment by others, not my words." Yunbing's lips twitched, and she kicked Jin Peng in the stomach. With a thud, Jin Peng flew backward, tracing an arc before crashing to the ground in a rather disheveled state. Then, Yunbing flashed over, grabbed Jin Peng by the collar, and lifted him up, saying, "If you hadn't started it, would there have been so much foul language? Don't play innocent, Ziran won't let you off easily when she finds out." Jin Peng slumped, somewhat unconvinced, and said, "I may not be able to beat you, but I didn't slander anyone. The alliance leader and that young man were eating with the same pair of chopsticks, which is equivalent to indirect kissing. Isn't that something only lovers do?" Yunbing said speechlessly, "You're talking nonsense, they didn't do anything." Jin Peng looked unconvinced and said, "The alliance leader has always been pure and innocent, she's never even held a man's hand. Would she share chopsticks with a man, and not mind eating with him even after they've gotten saliva on them? The alliance leader and that young man are probably doing something lovers do right now." Yunbing's pretty face froze, she loosened her grip on Jin Peng, and her eyebrows furrowed. Jin Peng was right. Ziran and Xiao Ye were practicing, and the scale of their practice was going too far. After Jin Peng's reminder, Yunbing suddenly realized that what Ziran and Xiao Ye were doing in front of her didn't seem like practice at all, they were genuinely cultivating their relationship. "Right. Ziran said last night that she would start pursuing that man first thing tomorrow morning. And this morning, Yunbing saw Xiao Ye drinking an iced cola. Crunch, crunch." Yunbing gritted her teeth, a surge of betrayal and anger welling up inside her. Hell! She laughed in anger. She considered Ziran her best friend, yet Ziran used this as an excuse to flirt with Xiao Ye right in front of her. And she even brazenly claimed to be using him as a guinea pig. "Ziran, you lied to me, you stole my husband. And Xiao Ye, you cheated on me with a monkey." Yunbing's chest heaved with rage, her entire body exuding power, and she flew towards the alliance leader's hall with a whoosh. Jin Peng's eyes widened, and he gasped. The words spoken by this alluring and stunningly beautiful woman were absolutely explosive. The newly joined Supremas at the entrance of the cultivation hall were also stunned. Holy crap, the alliance leader actually stole someone else's husband. Damn, just how handsome is that young man? Not only does he have this beauty, but he also captivated the alliance leader. That alluring beauty, did she go back to catch them cheating? Wow, I want to see how handsome that young man is. I want to go see them catch them cheating, the alliance leaders cheating, the cheating of the most beautiful woman in the capital. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Everyone took to the air, flying towards the Supreme Alliance Leaders Hall. They wanted to watch the show. Inside the Alliance Leaders Hall, on the 3rd floor, in the living room, Ziran and Xiao Ye were watching an action-adventure short film. On the projected screen, the male and female leads were engaged in a two-person battle, with various scenes unfolding. Ugh! Ziran covered her eyes with her small hands, her pretty face flushed with embarrassment. Xiao Ye, how about we skip this part? It's too embarrassing. Xiao Ye waved his hand and laughed. We watched this precisely to see this part. Sister Ziran, didn't you watch these kinds of parts before? Ziran's hands weren't tightly closed, leaving several large gaps. Her beautiful eyes curiously peered through the gaps at the projected image. She said shyly, why would I watch this part? I only watched the beginning to see the female protagonist's figure. Xiao Ye looked at Ziran, raised his hand, and removed her small hands from her eyes. He said, since you haven't seen it before, then watch it today. You'll experience this in the future too. Consider this a learning experience. You'll have real-world opportunities later. Ziran's pure and pretty face turned completely red, down to her delicate earlobes. Her beautiful eyes darted away, still unable to look directly at the image. Oh dear. I was just looking at the big waves and the perky butt, and my god, that guy's movements were so rough. Xiao Ye, you have to be gentler with me in the future. Ziran said shyly. Xiao Ye was stunned. Do you think I'll treat you like this in the future? Ziran replied matter-of-factly, of course. Ziran, keep my word. Once I've chosen you as my man, I won't have any dealings with other men. Ziran, will one day form a contract with you and become your true lover and husband. Xiao Ye was taken aback. What if Sister Yunbing doesn't agree? Ziran snorted, I'm not the leader of this alliance for nothing. I'll find a way to get Xiao Bing to agree. Xiao Ye, give me a definite answer. Can we form a contract? Seeing her sincerity and determination, Xiao Ye said. As long as Sister Yunbing and my other beast girls agree, I'll form a contract with you. Ziran clenched her fists. I'll try my best. Xiao Ye smiled and said, the other beast girls are all easy to talk to. Your main goal is to persuade Sister Yunbing. Once you've persuaded her, everything will be easy. However, you took advantage of Sister Yunbing's trust in you and deceived her. It'll be very difficult for you to convince Sister Yunbing and get her consent. Ziran leaned her head against Xiao Ye's shoulder. He put his arm around her shoulder, and the two of them snuggled together, their eyes glued to the two-person battle on the projection screen. Bang! At that moment, a charming and stunningly beautiful mature woman came up the stairs. She glanced blankly at the projection screen, then saw the two of them snuggling together, and she was furious. Chapter 386 Caught watching porn on the spot. You two, you've been doing something shady behind my back. A melodious but angry voice came from behind. Xiao Ye jumped in fright, quickly releasing Ziran and moving a short distance away, saying, Sister Yunbing, it's not what you think. Yunbing laughed angrily, pointing her slender white finger at the image on the projector screen. The two-person battle was still ongoing, and embarrassing voices continued to emanate from the speakers, saying, you two were watching this kind of thing together, hugging and kissing each other. You say it's not what I think? Do you even believe that yourself? Xiao Ye glanced at the image on the projector screen, his words caught in his throat, and he opened his mouth but couldn't utter a single sentence. Ziran, feeling a little guilty, said, Xiao Bing, we're just practicing. I'm using him as a guinea pig. Yunbing stared coldly at Ziran and said in a cold voice, don't lie. Do you think I'm stupid? Don't you have any analytical skills? Can't you even see through your affair? Ziran, you filthy bitch, the man you like is Xiao Ye, isn't he? You want to pursue Xiao Ye, but you make up an excuse about using him as a practice subject. You just want to deceive me, taking advantage of my trust in you. Being deceived is unpleasant. Being betrayed is also extremely unpleasant. Ziran and Xiao Ye both deceived and betrayed her. At this moment, Yunbing felt both angry and sad, wishing she could tear Ziran and Xiao Ye apart. Seeing that her secret had been exposed, Ziran directly admitted, yes, Xiao Bing, I like Xiao Ye, and I want to be Xiao Ye's woman. I'm sorry, I deceived you. Yunbing looked at Ziran's pure and beautiful face and felt completely unfamiliar with it. Xiao Ye walked over, intending to put his arm around Yunbing's shoulder to explain. But Yunbing dodged him, her face full of disappointment. Don't touch me, she said. Go back to watching porn with this bitch. I never want to see you again. With a tearing sound, she opened a special rift, stepped inside, and vanished. Xiao Ye tried to chase after her, But missed his step, the spatial rift disappeared as well. He panicked and called out, "Sister Yunbing, where are you going?" There was no reply. Xiao Ye panicked, anxiously saying, "It's over, it's all over. Sister Yunbing doesn't even want to see me anymore." Ziran rubbed her eyebrows in distress, approached, patted Xiao Ye's shoulder, and said, "Why are you in such a hurry? After Xiao Bing's anger subsides, you'll still be a loving couple. I'm doomed, I might never get her forgiveness. Let alone get her to agree to me being with you and forming a contract." Xiao Ye thought for a moment and said, "Sister Ziran, take me back to Shanghai. I need to go find Yunbing." She shook her head and smiled, "No rush. Let's finish watching the movie first and cultivate our relationship. We'll go find her after Xiao Bing calms down." With that, Ziran pulled Xiao Ye back to the sofa. She nestled her head against Xiao Ye's broad shoulder, their bodies pressed together. A few strands of her hair brushed against Xiao Ye's face, but he didn't feel a thing. The scene on the projector reached its most exciting part, and the sounds from the speakers began to play rhythmically. Xiao Ye stood up abruptly, expressionless, and said urgently, "No, I have to go find Sister Yunbing right away, apologize to her, and explain. My special teleportation can't reach Shanghai, I'll take a helicopter back." Based on the feedback from Cheng Bingxi and the other beast girls regarding his cultivation over the past few days, his current realm has reached the peak of the 10th level of the Venerable Realm. According to his estimation, he will break through to the Great Venerable Realm in a few days. The time required to break through from the 10th level of the Venerable Realm to the first level of the Great Venerable Realm is the same as the time required to break through from the first level to the second level of the Great Venerable Realm, roughly 10 days. Each breakthrough in the Venerable Realm takes 1 day, so this is about 10 times longer. Ziran turned off the projector and speakers, nodded, and said, "Okay, I'll go with you. We don't need to take a helicopter, but before that, I need to deal with those troublemakers outside." Xiao Ye was taken aback. "Outside?" Ziran and he walked to the window, pulled back the curtains, and looked down through the window. Sure enough, outside the Alliance Leaders' Hall, a large group of Supreme Beings, numbering about 20, had already gathered. "Come on, let's go downstairs together and disperse them, get them to join the Supreme Alliance. We're not here for them to watch the show and gossip," Ziran said, pulling Xiao Ye's hand and heading downstairs. Upon reaching the closed entrance to the Alliance Leaders' Hall, Xiao Ye paused, took her hand, and shook it, saying, "You and I are just going to walk out like this?" Ziran nodded. "Yes, I'll definitely form a contract with you in the future. Is there a problem with me officially announcing our relationship beforehand?" Xiao Ye shook his head. "I have no problem with that, but you're the most beautiful woman in the capital. If you're willing, that's fine." Ziran smiled gently, resolutely opened the hall door, took Xiao Ye's hand, and walked out side by side with him. Outside, some Supreme Beings who had joined 10 years ago and those who had joined recently were excitedly discussing among themselves. "Hey, weren't they supposed to be catching someone cheating? Why isn't there any noise? Could that alluring older sister have gone to the wrong place? Impossible, I saw that stunning older sister rush into the Alliance Leaders' Hall with my own eyes. That young man knows how to enjoy life, having 2 stunning older sisters at the same time. I joined the Supreme Alliance just to see Ziran, the most beautiful woman in the capital, and now she's already taken, isn't she?" Holy crap, the hall door opened, someone came out. It's the Alliance leader. Wait, who's this next to her? In an instant, all the Suprema's focused their attention on the 2 of them. The woman was pure and peerless, yet dignified and imposing. The man was tall and handsome, with an upright demeanor. Walking together, they looked like a perfect couple, a match made in heaven. Wow, this guy is so handsome, much more handsome than everyone else here, but he looks so young. Indeed, he looks no more than 100 years old, even my grandson is older than him. So this is the type the Alliance leader likes. If I had known, I would have told my grandson to get plastic surgery. You're not worthy, your grandson isn't worthy either. I'd be more worthy of getting plastic surgery. These Supreme Beings, top figures in each base city, were like gossipy old ladies at this moment. When Ziran and Xiao Ye approached, the scene instantly fell silent, and all the Supreme Beings bowed respectfully. "Greetings, Alliance Leader." "Greetings, Alliance Leader." "Good afternoon, Alliance Leader, have you eaten?" Ziran had regained their Alliance Leader aura, radiating the domineering presence of someone who had long held a high position, and none of the supreme beings present dared to look her in the eye. She said coldly, "Jinpeng is spreading rumors and will be confined for 2 months by the order team. You who slander the alliance leader will have your resources halved this year, to be carried out by the order team." "Where is the order team?" she shouted. A team of 10, radiating immense power, emerged from the void, carrying a fat, squinty-eyed man, and threw him in front of the supreme beings present. Sensing the aura of a perfected supreme being emanating from the 10-person team, all the supreme beings shrank back, their faces showing solemnity. They all realized that the supreme alliance leader was not to be trifled with. They couldn't discuss him casually, nor could they openly slander him. Ziran continued, "Let me introduce you again. This gentleman next to me is my Beast Tamer, Xiao Ye, a new member who just joined the Supreme Alliance this year." Xiao Ye waved and smiled, "Hello." Chapter 387 Yunbing's Pain. Brother Xiao. Greetings, Brother Xiao. Greetings, Brother Xiao. The Supreme Beings present all clasped their hands in response, showing no disrespect for Xiao Ye despite his youth. "Brother Xiao, you are a role model for us all." "Yes, Brother Xiao, you are the patriarch of deep affection in the capital. I have never admired anyone in this world, but Brother Xiao is the only one I truly respect." These supreme beings spoke all at once, their words filled with praise for Xiao Ye. After Ziran announced their relationship, Xiao Ye's status in the Supreme Alliance was equivalent to that of the Alliance leader. Although he didn't hold an actual position, offending him was tantamount to offending the Alliance leader. He could do whatever he wanted within the Supreme Alliance through the Alliance leader. Therefore, these supreme beings all understood that from now on, they had to treat Xiao Ye as the Alliance leader. Xiao Ye's status was elevated immeasurably. He saw respect and awe in the eyes of these supreme beings. Was this what it felt like to wield power? Was this what it felt like to live off a woman? It was thrilling, exhilarating. Xiao Ye felt a surge of excitement. Facing the crowd, Ziran, who had been stern and cold-faced, suddenly smiled. Her seriousness vanished, replaced by a bright, radiant smile, like spring flowers blooming. She said to Xiao Ye, "All right, let's go back to the demon capital." She waved her hand, and a black hole appeared. The black hole sucked the two of them in, disappearing in a flash. The Supremos present were stunned, whispering amongst themselves, "Holy crap, I actually saw the Alliance leader smile. So the Alliance leader can smile too? Isn't she always so serious?" "Everyone, disperse. The Alliance leader's gentleness is only for Brother Xiao. Let's not overthink it." "Sigh, I slandered the Alliance leader. Just a few words, and this year's resources are halved. I only just joined the Supreme Alliance. I regret my loose tongue." The Supremos gradually dispersed, each going about their own business. Meanwhile, at Villa Number 2 in the Lakeside Villa district of Kunpeng Academy, a spatial rift appeared in an instant, and a stunningly beautiful mature woman emerged from it. She possessed a fiery, devilish figure, her curves forming an S shape, with prominent breasts and buttocks. It was Yunbing. However, her exquisitely beautiful face was filled with pain, anger, and disappointment. Yunbing hugged her legs, curled up on the sofa, buried her head in her slender arms, her delicate body trembling uncontrollably. Silence spoke volumes. She endured the taste of being deceived and betrayed. It was incredibly painful. Yunbing cried, without uttering a sound, tears falling silently. 10 minutes later, she raised her head, revealing a delicate yet haggard face. Her eyes, once as pure as autumn water, were now bloodshot and red. She took out her tablet, found Baidu, and typed in "what to do if my husband cheats on me with my best friend," and clicked search. After refreshing the page, search results appeared one after another. Cut him off completely. Castrate him. Once it starts, it will happen again. Once it begins, it's endless. One cut, and it's over. Rescind the contract must be terminated. This scumbag deserves to be kicked to the curb. Beware of best friends. Best friends who advise breaking up, not staying together, should be eliminated immediately. It'll be satisfying. Terminate the contract. Then try to get your best friend and the scumbag to form a new one. If this kind of scumbag can cheat once, he'll do it again. Let your best friend experience the pain of being cheated on too. Yunbing angrily threw down her tablet. Thinking of Xiao Ye's face, the taste of betrayal welled up again, causing her immense pain. She cried again, curling up and burying her head in her arms. Suddenly, a white hole appeared outside the villa, and with two plop, plop, sounds, two people emerged, Xiao Ye and Ziran. Ziran's beautiful eyes lit up. I sensed Xiao Bing's presence. She's inside the villa. Xiao Ye nodded and said, wait outside for a bit. I'll go in and check. Ziran nodded, leaned over, and kissed Xiao Ye's cheek, smiling, go ahead, I'll wait for you. Xiao Ye wiped his face, took out his keys, opened the door, and entered the villa. Upon entering the living room, the first thing he saw was Yun Bing, curled up on the sofa, trembling. Xiao Ye's heart tightened. He felt a sharp pain, as if needles were pricking his heart. He walked over, squatted down, and peered up through the gaps between Yun Bing's arms, saying, hey, Sister Yun Bing, you're actually crying. Are you really crying? Let me see. Xiao Ye pretended to pry open Yun Bing's hands to see her pretty face. Yun Bing looked up and glared at him fiercely, saying, what are you doing back here? You've found someone new, why are you still here? Xiao Ye saw her haggard face and bloodshot eyes, and his heart ached. He chuckled awkwardly, then sat down next to Yun Bing, pulling her into his arms, saying, this is all my fault. You can hit me, scold me, I promise I won't fight back. As he said this, Xiao Ye felt a chill. Yun Bing had a fiery temper, she was always either beating people up or on her way to one. If she really punched him, his bones would probably be shattered. Yun Bing leaned her head against Xiao Ye's shoulder, saying, I even wanted to castrate you. But just as she was about to lean in, Yun Bing's pupils contracted. She actually saw a bright red lip print on Xiao Ye's face. The lip print was faint, it seemed she had tried to wipe it off but hadn't completely removed it. Yun Bing hadn't kissed Xiao Ye recently, so it was obvious that the lip print wasn't hers, but another woman's. It must be Ziran's. Yun Bing was furious. She stormed into the kitchen, grabbed a cleaver, and walked towards Xiao Ye step by step. Seeing the gleaming, sharp blade and the ruthless look on Yun Bing's pretty face, Xiao Ye shrank back, panicking, Sister Yun Bing, what are you going to do? Yun Bing said, word by word, I'll castrate you, make you a eunuch, then Ziran won't be with you anymore, and she can spend her whole life with me. Hiss. Xiao Ye gasped, his body turning cold, 2 beads of cold sweat appearing on his forehead. He waved his hand, saying, Sister Yun Bing, you'd better think it over. If I become a eunuch, you'll be alone forever, never satisfied. Yun Bing pursed her lips, I have toys. They can replace you. Xiao Ye's eyes widened in disbelief, Sister Yun Bing, you actually have that? Before we made a contract, you were secretly seeking pleasure on your own, right? He thought to himself, when he entered the bridal chamber with Liu Yan, he couldn't break through her hymen, preventing them from consummating their marriage. But Yun Bing faced no resistance. Yun Bing blushed, only once every 100 years. In the 1500 years since. I've used it less than the number of times I've used it with both hands. Xiao Ye suddenly understood, I see. Yun Bing approached with a knife, bringing it close to Xiao Ye. The gleaming cleaver was pressed against his lower abdomen. She sneered, even if I've used toys, I've never touched a man before, never done anything to betray you. But you've disappointed me greatly. Since it was caused by your handle, then let's cut it off completely. With lightning speed, she slashed, a flash of cold light, a blade of light passing by. Chapter 388 Yun Bing's Punishment, Ziran's Jealousy. Splat, sound, blood splattered everywhere, covering Yun Bing's pretty face and clothes in crimson. Xiao Ye's clothes and pants were also covered in blood. Xiao Ye shuddered. He cried out in pain, his eyes tightly shut. No. My? Yun Bing sneered, now you're scared, huh? How? If you betray me again, next time, it'll be yours. She picked up a magical pigeon bird that had been cut in half, bright red blood dripping from between her fingers. Not mine? Xiao Ye didn't feel any pain, but when he opened his eyes, they widened in shock. Yun Bing had somehow managed to grab a magical pigeon bird and cut it in half with a kitchen knife. She curled her lips into a sneer, this kind of thing won't happen again. Xiao Ye breathed a sigh of relief, his heart finally at ease. It wasn't his, so he smiled and said, Sister Yun Bing, I knew you wouldn't part with it. Toys can't compare to mine. Yun Bing's pretty face flushed red, her beautiful eyes glaring. HMPH, you have to compensate me before I can forgive you. Xiao Ye raised his head and leaned closer, saying, Sister Yun Bing, are you still angry? Why don't you slap me a couple of times to vent your anger? Yunbing looked at the lip print on his handsome face, her anger growing. She said irritably, if you want me to slap you, wipe the lip print off your face first. It's disgusting. Xiao Ye was startled. He took out a mirror, and sure enough, there was a bright red lip print on his face, with a faint trace. Oh no, Sister Ziren has really ruined me. I'll clean myself up right away. He chuckled sheepishly, a little embarrassed, and hurriedly ran into the bathroom to wash his face. After washing it clean, he came running out and brought his face close to Yunbing's, saying, Sister Yunbing, hit me, I won't fight back. As long as it makes you feel better, I'll accept as many slaps as you want. His sincere gaze and honest words made Yunbing chuckle. She reached out and pinched his handsome face, saying resentfully, I can't bear to hit you. I'd be heartbroken if you hurt me. Xiao Ye chuckled and said, so you've forgiven me? Yunbing's beautiful eyes were filled with resentment as she said softly, no. Xiao Ye chuckled and said, then what will it take for you to forgive me? Yunbing sat on the sofa and said coldly, call that slut Ziren in. Just as Xiao Ye was about to go out and call, Ziren came in on her own. She felt guilty and uneasy, her eyes darting around as she said sheepishly, Xiao Bing, the weather is really nice today. Yunbing sneered, how? Ziren, don't you have anything to say to me? Ziren's body trembled. Knowing Yunbing as she did, she knew that Yunbing's words meant she could forgive her. Ziren's beautiful eyes lit up, and she said, Xiao Bing, I'm sorry, I lied to you, and I even flirted with Xiao Ye in front of you. What do you want for me to forgive you? I'll even make you lie on the ground and bark like a dog. At this moment, she was her best friend waiting to be punished for her mistake, her head lowered, her face tense, all her imposing aura gone, a stark contrast to her dignified presence at the Supreme Alliance. Yunbing snorted, speechless. Who asked you to lie on the ground and bark like a dog? If you have this weird fetish, go bark yourself. I'm asking you, do you like Xiao Ye, and are you lusting after his body? Xiao Ye stood to the side, listening intently. Ziren's pure and pretty face flushed red. She glanced at him with her beautiful eyes. Then said with absolute certainty, that's right. I, Ziren, like Xiao Ye, lust after his body, and want to form a contract with him. Xiao Ye was stunned. Ziren actually lusted after his body. Yunbing snorted, I can see that. Ziren, when did you fall for Xiao Ye? Ziren thought for a moment, her pretty face flushed, and said, when he saved me from the brink of death and then fixed my physical defect. Oh dear, he touched me naked and saw me naked, how could I not be moved? I, Ziren, have always been pure and innocent. For 1,500 years, I haven't even touched a man's hand. How could I not be moved when Xiao Ye touched me like that? Hearing this, Yunbing glared fiercely at Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye suddenly realized that Ziren had started to fall for him at that time. But when he massaged Ziren, he had to make sure she was completely naked before they could have physical contact. He wasn't doing it to take advantage of her, it was to treat her physical defect. At this moment, Ziren blushed and lowered her head, very embarrassed. Her toes inside her shoes were curled up, almost tearing the soles apart. Oh dear, can we change the subject, Xiao Bing? It's too embarrassing to say these things in front of Xiao Ye. Yunbing's lips twitched, and she snorted, saying, fine, you slut, don't you like Xiao Ye? You were all lovey-dovey with him right in front of me, indirectly kissing while eating with your chopsticks, and even eating goblin kidneys, a whole plateful, and I, the rightful wife, didn't eat a single one. At the time, she didn't feel anything, but now, thinking back to that scene, Yunbing felt extremely bitter, like she had eaten a sour lemon, even more so than being jealous. Ziren, stand up straight, head held high, eyes straight ahead, look at us, she said coldly. Ziren raised her head in confusion, her beautiful eyes fixed on the two of them, wondering what Yunbing was up to. Yunbing beckoned to Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye grinned and leaned closer, saying, Yunbing, my wife, what are you doing? Yunbing pointed to her delicate face and said, give me a kiss, quick. Ah. Xiao Ye's eyes widened. Was it really okay to do this in front of Ziren? Ziren's heart skipped a beat. Was Xiao Bing declaring her ownership? Looking at her flawless face full of collagen, Xiao Ye gave her a quick kiss and grinned, is this okay? Yunbing nodded, giving Ziren a provocative look. You like Xiao Ye, right? I'll let you watch the man you like touch me. Ziren's beautiful eyes widened, her teeth clenched, and her expression was incredibly complicated. Yunbing pointed to her rosy lips and said, "Hurry up." Xiao Ye exclaimed, "Sister Ziran is still here." Yunbing threw away the magical beast bird, grabbed his collar and pulled him over, saying, "Stop talking nonsense, I want her to taste what it's like to be jealous." Xiao Ye's mouth was blocked by Yunbing's rosy lips. Then, he felt a little fish break through his teeth, brazenly and unrestrainedly attacking him. This powerful offensive made Xiao Ye feel Yunbing's heat for the first time. Watching the person she liked being kissed by another woman, Ziran bit her lower lip until it bled, her small hands under her purple dress clenched into fists, her beautiful eyes flashing with sharp, dagger-like light. While being unrestrained, Yunbing glanced at Ziran, quite satisfied with her reaction. HMPH. Serves you right for deceiving me, making me feel bad, now you're jealous. 2 minutes later. Watching the two still biting their lips, Ziran's proud chest heaved, her aura almost overflowing. 5 minutes later, Yunbing finally released Xiao Ye, licked her lips, and said smugly, "Ziran, how did it feel?" Ziran's face was cold as she replied in a low voice, "Not good. HMPH. Stubborn." Yunbing's lips curled into a sneer, and she said something shocking, "Xiao Ye, take it all off, completely naked. Doesn't this slut like watching movies? We'll show her a movie right here." Xiao Ye was utterly astonished. Chapter 389 Ziran's embarrassment. Witnessing this with Ziran's own eyes was truly shocking. Xiao Ye felt his scalp tingle. Ziran was also stunned, her rosy lips slightly agape, exclaiming, "Yunbing, are you an exhibitionist? You want me to watch you get dumped?" Xiao Ye firmly shook his head, saying, "Sister Yunbing, no way, I won't do it. Sorry, I can't tolerate you, you've lost all sense of decency." Ziran's rosy lips curled slightly. If she were to see the person she liked, Xiao Ye, being intimate with Xiao Bing right in front of her, she would probably be devastated. HMPH, Xiao Bing, Xiao Ye isn't your puppet, he won't let you do whatever you want. Yunbing frowned and pondered for a moment, then stroked her chin and nodded, saying, "That seems true. I'm not an exhibitionist, I don't have a penchant for showing off my figure, and I'm not as narcissistic as some people who want the whole world to know how great their bodies are. To be seen being dumped in front of someone, I guess only an extremely narcissistic person would do that." Ziran's pretty face darkened. She understood that Yunbing was subtly implying someone, herself, Ziran. She was furious. She was still a virgin, and while she was indeed narcissistic, she was being called an exhibitionist. "Yunbing, that's enough," Ziran said angrily. PFFT. Yunbing chuckled, her beautiful eyes holding a hint of coldness, yet her charming face was full of smiles. She took Ziran's hand and said, "Then forget it, let's skip it in person. I'm not an exhibitionist, right, Ziran?" Ziran felt a surge of relief, her pretty face brightening as she said, "That's right, Xiao Bing, you don't have a penchant for being watched." She breathed a sigh of relief. Xiao Bing had finally let her go. But then, Yunbing, holding Ziran's hand on each side, led her up the stairs. Ziran's heart skipped a beat, a sense of foreboding washing over her. Xiao Ye scratched the back of his head, unsure of what Yunbing was up to. The three of them reached the third floor, outside the master bedroom, by the door. Yunbing pointed to the door and said, "If you want me to forgive you, you'll stand here and eavesdrop on me later. When Xiao Ye and I are exercising, we'll talk about some things. After we are done, I'll come and ask you questions to see if you are really listening." Ziran's lips twitched. "So you haven't let me off the hook? You're waiting for me here?" Yunbing's beautiful eyes widened. "You want me to let you off the hook? Dream on. Xiao Ye, can you accept having her eavesdrop on the door with the door closed, not in person?" Xiao Ye wanted to refuse. HMPH, come with me. Yunbing grabbed Xiao Ye's collar and went into the bedroom, then closed the door, leaving a small crack. Xiao Ye didn't notice and assumed the door was closed. With only the two of them in the room, his anxiety lessened considerably. Outside, Ziran gritted her teeth in anger, her two rows of white teeth grinding together. She said she'd close the door, but she left a crack. Immediately afterward, embarrassing sounds came from inside the door. Ziran's beautiful eyes widened instantly, her pure face went blank, and her delicate ears flushed red. The voices inside continued, "Stand up. No need for that. Just move." Xiao Ye remained silent, it was all Yunbing speaking. Ziran blushed deeply, her mind already conjuring up images, and curiosity arose within her. She peered through the crack in the door. It wasn't until 2 hours later that it ended. Ziran squatted against the wall, her legs numb, complaining inwardly, Xiao Ye is really something, taking so long. He said 10 minutes would be enough. Half an hour later, Yunbing, having changed her clothes, and Xiao Ye came out and sat with Ziran on the sofa. Ziran's pure, pretty face was flushed, and she lowered her head, too shy to look directly at Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye was also somewhat embarrassed, unsure how to face Ziran. Yunbing, without any ulterior motives, stared at Ziran with her beautiful eyes and teased, Ziran, let me ask you, were you listening the whole time? Ziran gave a soft snort, yes. Xiao Ye's eyes widened. Yunbing's lips curled into a smile, I don't believe you. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Only if you can answer them can you prove that you didn't leave the room the whole time and didn't block out your senses. Xiao Ye was also a little curious about whether Ziran had been listening continuously. Ziran, full of resentment, said, just ask away. Yunbing asked, who was moving the whole time? Ziran raised her head, revealing her delicate face, her beautiful eyes filled with resentment. She glared at Xiao Ye, her pretty face full of bitterness, and said softly, he was moving. Ha ha ha. Yunbing clapped her hands and cheered, good, very good. Xiao Ye's face turned red. Yunbing then asked, how long did Xiao Ye last? Ziran replied shyly, 2 hours. HMPH, Xiao Ye, really? You knew I was outside, why didn't you finish sooner? Did you finish in 20 minutes last time? Yunbing's face turned cold. Shut up, this is the Q&A session. Xiao Ye, did you and Ziran have sex last time? Xiao Ye hurriedly waved his hands. No, absolutely not. Yunbing didn't believe him and looked at Ziran. You didn't even form a contract with him, and you already gave yourself away? Ziran's pretty face darkened. Nonsense. I'm still a virgin. Last time, Xiao Ye went into the bathroom. I don't know what he was doing, but it took 20 minutes. I guess he was doing something that only one person can do. Yunbing's lips twitched, speechless. Then you're overthinking it. Xiao Ye has so many beast girls, it's impossible for him to be alone. Besides, his combat power is strong, 20 minutes isn't even enough to warm up. Xiao Ye's face flushed again. Being discussed like this by two stunningly beautiful women made him feel awkward for the first time, something he hadn't felt embarrassed in a long time. However, his fighting prowess had been proven, and he was somewhat smug. He puffed out his chest and raised an eyebrow, saying, Sister Ziran, I told you long ago, it's not what you think. Now the truth is out. Ziran's eyes were full of resentment, like a neglected woman in her boudoir, as she glared at him and complained, taking 20 minutes to go to the toilet? Only you could do that. Ahem. Yunbing coughed. Stop talking about this. I haven't finished asking yet. Ziran, I'll continue asking, and you can continue answering. What are black stockings for? Ziran looked down at her skirt. Underneath the skirt, her legs were also wearing high-top stockings, with letters and Xiao Ye's 4 unique characters on them. Her beautiful eyes lit up, and she said, they're for tearing. Good socks are those that can be torn easily. The black stockings she made using supreme-grade ice silk material were protective gear with formidable defensive capabilities, a failed product. Because if they couldn't be torn, they weren't good socks. Xiao Ye thought to himself, you finally understand the true use of high-quality silk. Yunbing nodded, snapped her fingers, and said, alright, you passed. Ziran's pretty face lit up with joy, really? Xiao Bing, you forgive me? Yunbing smiled, yes, I forgive you. I was angry because you lied to me, not because you like Xiao Ye. I can't stop you from liking someone, liking Xiao Ye is fate. Thus, their estrangement was repaired, and the two best friends were reconciled. Ziran was overjoyed and grinned, so, you agree to my marriage with Xiao Ye? Chapter 390 Yunbing agrees, excited white-haired girl. Xiao Ye listened intently, his breath catching in his throat. To be honest, he also coveted Ziran, the most beautiful woman in the capital, and longed for her body. For Ziran to form a contract with him, Yunbing's consent was required. Once Yunbing agreed, the other beast girls would be much easier to deal with. Those gluttons, as long as there was good food, they'd be happy. Yunbing nodded and said, I agree. Ziran was overjoyed, her pure and pretty face beaming with uncontrollable smiles, Her bright eyes filled with delight. Thank you, Xiao Bing, thank you for your generosity and kindness, she said sincerely. Xiao Ye's lips curled into a wide grin, almost reaching his ears, showing just how happy he was. Yun Bing waved her hand. No need to thank me. Rather than letting you benefit someone else, it's better for Xiao Ye to benefit. I don't want to see you being held in someone else's arms. Ziran giggled, skipped happily to Xiao Ye's side, opened her arms and hugged him tightly, saying happily, Xiao Ye, did you hear that? Xiao Bing agreed. She agreed. Xiao Ye nodded, feeling the softness in his arms, his smile almost bursting out, and said, Congratulations, Sister Ziran, you got what you wanted. Ziran nodded vigorously, yes, I finally got you. Yun Bing's face darkened, and she shouted, Hey, I'm still here. You two are hugging and kissing in front of me, don't you consider my feelings? Ziran rolled her eyes, unconcerned, and said, Xiao Bing, from now on we're family, we're both Xiao Ye's beast girl, why be so formal? Yun Bing's lips twitched, speechless. We haven't signed a contract yet. Becoming family is something that will happen after the contract is signed. Ziran exclaimed, I don't care. I got cravings watching you two kiss. Xiao Ye, you have to satisfy me now. Xiao Ye glanced at Yun Bing, feeling a little hot-tempered, and suggested, Sister Ziran, how about we kiss later? It's not appropriate in front of Sister Yun Bing, is it? Ziran rolled her eyes, pouted her pretty face, and gave him a kiss. Xiao Ye tried to dodge, but how could he escape the kiss of a Saint Realm expert? No matter which way his head turned, Ziran, this Saint Realm expert, could accurately predict his head's movement and kiss him in the blink of an eye. Xiao Ye's mouth was blocked, and he couldn't speak. Ziran's kiss was soft, cool, and moist. This kiss was different from the one with Yun Bing. One was a charming and beautiful mature woman, the other a pure and beautiful mature woman. The sensation of biting each other's lips was wonderful, yet subtly different. One was passionate like fire, the other pure as water. One fiery, the other primal. The exquisite feeling was indescribable. Ziran, really? I just agreed to you two being together, and you're already kissing like that. How thirsty are you? Yun Bing retorted, exasperated. As a woman, don't you know how to be reserved? Xiao Ye too, you're really lucky. She's the most beautiful woman in the capital, and ranks in the top 3 nationwide. Ziran hugged Xiao Ye tightly for 10 minutes before finally releasing him, satisfied. She licked her lips with her little mouth, a satisfied look on her face, and said, I've been single for over 1,500 years. I was eavesdropping just now and you guys aroused my desire again, so what's wrong with me biting my lip? If I made a contract, I wouldn't let Xiao Ye leave my bedroom for 3 days and 3 nights. Hearing these lewd words, Xiao Ye's eyes widened. He never expected that the seemingly innocent leader of the Supreme Alliance would be so thirsty inside. But thankfully, this thirst was only for him. Yun Bing pulled Xiao Ye over, making him sit close to her on the sofa. Ziran, not to be outdone, sat down on the sofa next to him on the other side. Now, Xiao Ye was surrounded by 2 stunningly beautiful mature women. Yun Bing rolled her eyes, but didn't stop Ziran or say anything to her. She said, Ziran, do you want to form a contract with Xiao Ye as soon as possible? At this, Ziran became worried and said with a bitter smile, Yes, I wish I could form a contract with Xiao Ye right now, but... She seemed to have something she couldn't say. Yun Bing said, Since you want to, I suggest you cook something delicious and hold a Beast Girl gathering. At the gathering, confess your relationship with Xiao Ye and get Xiao Ye's Beast Girls to accept you and agree to form a contract with him. Deep in Ziran's eyes was a deep worry, but she hid it well and smiled, Okay, but will those Beast Girls accept me? Yun Bing smiled, They will. Just ask your subordinate, that squint-eyed fat guy Jin Peng, to cook something delicious. Xiao Ye's Beast Girls are all foodies. As long as Xiao Ye personally says he wants to form a contract with you, and they're happy with the food, they won't stop you from taking things further. Xiao Ye named 66 dishes, saying, These 60-odd dishes, some oily, some light, and some desserts, are all things they like. Ziran understood and said impatiently, Okay, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. I'll arrange it right away and have a dinner with those Beast Girls. At the same time, she took out her communicator and sent a message to her apprentice, Huangfu Xiangling, get ready. We're having a dinner party tonight. I'm going to propose to Xiao Ye, So you can't embarrass your master. After sending the message, Ziran impatiently disappeared. Yunbin glared at her and said, Xiao Ye, what are you waiting for? Go tell your sisters to rest. We'll have a big dinner party tonight, and then you can continue cultivating tomorrow. Xiao Ye shrugged and smiled. Let's go together. The two got up and left Villa number 2. Meanwhile, in Villa number 10 of the Lakeside Villa District, on the first floor, in the living room, Huangfu Xiangling, a white-haired girl who was playing and chatting with Qin Zier, took out her communicator and glanced at it. Her beautiful eyes widened instantly, and she was overjoyed. Her still somewhat childish face was full of happiness. The text message read, Xiangling, get ready. We're having a dinner party tonight. I'll be proposing to Xiao Ye. You can't embarrass your master, hehe. Master is so good to me. Knowing I've developed feelings for Xiao Ye, he's proactively considering my feelings and proposing to him. While saying this, she felt conflicted. But Xiao Ye and I aren't even officially together yet. I haven't even confessed to him. Would proposing directly be too abrupt? I'm not ready to form a contract with Xiao Ye either. Huangfu Xiangling was both excited and conflicted. Since her disciple had developed feelings, it must have been her master who proposed. The white-haired girl assumed Ziran was proposing to Xiao Ye for Huangfu Xiangling's sake. In her mind, a super-powerful figure like Ziran, a quasi-saint at the great perfection, and the high and mighty leader of the Supreme Alliance, would definitely not be interested in the 18-year-old Xiao Ye and couldn't possibly have feelings for him. Ziran's proposal must be for Huangfu Xiangling's sake. Hehe. Huangfu Xiangling grinned, drooling, as she thought of Xiao Ye's 8-pack abs. With a slurp, the white-haired girl licked her lips, her pretty face a mixture of nervousness and excitement, her delicate body trembling slightly as she revealed her sharp teeth. Chapter 391 Qin Zier, I want to propose marriage too. Beside her, watching the white-haired girl fluctuate between excitement and nervousness, muttering words like marriage proposal, Qin Zier was taken aback. What marriage proposal? Qin Zier asked. Huangfu Xiangling grinned, my master is coming here to propose to Xiao Ye. Qin Zier's pretty face froze, her slender white finger pointing at her incredulously. Your master is going to marry Xiao Ye? Of course not. Huangfu Xiangling rolled her eyes, pointing to herself. My master is a quasi-saint realm expert. How could she possibly be interested in Xiao Ye? She'll be coming tonight to propose for me. Qin Zier's beautiful pupils contracted, her face filled with shock. Tonight? So soon? Huangfu Xiangling nodded. Yes, yes. Qin Zier's beautiful eyes darkened, a pang of jealousy rising within her. She was clearly the one who approached Xiao Ye first, Huangfu Xiangling appearing later, yet now, Huangfu Xiangling had formally declared her intention to propose to Xiao Ye before her. The white-haired girl raised her paw and patted Qin Zier's shoulder, laughing. You like good food, right? We'll definitely satisfy you at the wedding banquet. Qin Zier remained expressionless, pulling out her communicator, wondering if she should ask her father to propose. I'll make a call. She jumped off the sofa and quickly ran into the bathroom, tightly closing the doors and windows. Huangfu Xiangling ignored her, immersed in her excitement, grinning foolishly. From now on, I can touch Xiao Ye's 8-pack abs whenever I want, and kiss his face whenever I want. Huangfu Xiangling, will have a husband now. With a quasi-saint realm expert intervening, and given her own exceptional qualities, the top female prodigy among the younger generation in the capital, with a curvaceous figure, slim waist, and long legs, she couldn't find a reason for Xiao Ye to refuse. This proposal was sure to be a resounding success, with no chance of failure. In the bathroom, Qin Zier had already dialed her father's number. Once connected, she couldn't contain herself, her pretty face filled with anxiety. Daddy. There's something that concerns my lifelong happiness, you must help me. On the other end, it seemed someone was in a meeting, and after half a minute, a voice replied, Zier, what did you say? What do I need help with? Qin Zier, somewhat impatient and ignoring her shyness, blurted out, Daddy, I like Xiao Ye. I need you to help me propose marriage. Huh? Qin Tai was stunned. Even if Xiao Ye is very outstanding, you've only known each other for less than a month. You've already decided on him? You want to spend your life with him? Qin Zier cut to the chase, concisely stating, yes, I've decided on him. I won't marry anyone else. Qin Tai took a deep breath, and after a long pause, he finally accepted it. All right, Since my daughter's heart is so firm, what can I say? Xiao Ye is a good man worthy of my trust. 3 days from now is an auspicious day. I will come to Shanghai to propose to Xiao Ye in 3 days, how about that? Qin Zhe stamped her foot and said urgently, no, 3 days is too long. You should come to propose tonight? Qin Tai was stunned and exclaimed, no way, Zhe, are you in such a hurry to marry yourself off? Proposing marriage also has a success rate. If you two come so hastily without discussing it beforehand, Xiao Ye will most likely not agree. Let me ask you, Xiao Ye, does he understand your feelings, or rather, have you revealed your feelings to Xiao Ye? Qin Zhe raised her beautiful eyes, recalled, and after 2 seconds said with certainty, I have revealed them. I clearly expressed my feelings to him. Before Xiao Ye went to the capital to participate in the Supreme Alliance's expansion recruitment, she, Qin Zhe, had already expressed her feelings to Xiao Ye and said that she would be waiting for him to pounce on her while wearing a purple nightgown. Qin Tai snapped his fingers and laughed heartily. Ha 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 ha. So Zhe's been wanting to get married all this time, huh? Qin Zhe's pretty face flushed, and she stamped her foot, saying, oh, Daddy, stop teasing me. Are you coming tonight? Qin Tai thought for a moment and nodded, yes. Qin Zhe's face immediately lit up with a smile. Thank you, Daddy. Qin Tai hung up the call, rubbed his temples. There were still 4 hours until evening, and he had to hastily prepare the betrothal gifts and go to propose marriage. In his view, Xiao Ye was unlikely to be a live-in son-in-law, so he was going to send his daughter off. Sigh, well, what Zhe wants, I, as her father, must fulfill. She's suffered so much these past years, I won't allow her to continue suffering. This was a doting father, unwilling to allow his daughter to suffer even the slightest harm, a man with a strong sense of responsibility and overflowing with fatherly love. On the other side, Qin Zhe hung up the call, her lips curving into an excited smile, her heart pounding. Yay, she exclaimed, making a fist. After leaving the bathroom, Qin Zhe stood tall and sat down next to the white-haired girl. The white-haired girl was still excited, saying, Zhe, you have to say a few nice things for me tonight. At the banquet, I promise I'll let you sit at the children's table, no one will fight you for food. Oh, and I need to carefully choose what to wear tonight's banquet. See you tonight. She skipped away, impatient. Qin Zhe, still smiling, retorted, I'm going to pick out a pretty dress too. It's not like you're the only one who can propose, HMPH. She swayed her graceful figure, her delicate white feet treading lightly as she went upstairs. At that moment, Xiao Ye and Yun Bing opened the villa's front door and entered. Xiao Ye looked puzzled. Why is Huang Fu Xiangling walking so fast? Is she going to see her lover? Yun Bing shook her head. I don't know. The two entered the basement. In the spacious underground cultivation room, in the upper left corner was the 5-clawed Supreme Golden Dragon, in the lower left corner was the Spirit Illusion Ancestor Cat, in the lower right corner was the Nine-Tailed Life and Death Ruler Celestial Fox, and in the upper right corner was the Time Emperor Candle Dragon. Their sizes had all shrunk to 1 meter, and they all released profound and supreme auras. Supreme type, Illusion type, Life Destruction type, Time type. The Golden Dragon's realm was the first level of the Great Venerable, the Spirit Illusion Ancestor Cat's realm was also the first level of the Great Venerable, and the Nine-Tailed Celestial Fox's realm was also the first level of the Great Venerable. All three were at the same realm as Xiao Ye. What surprised Xiao Ye was that Mu Qingsu's Candle Dragon summoned beast had actually reached the 10th level of the Venerable realm, just one step away from stepping into the Great Venerable realm. Qingsu is cultivating very diligently. In just 3 or 4 days, she's advanced from the first level of the Venerable realm to the 10th level, Yun Bing exclaimed in surprise. Xiao Ye pondered, she probably used time acceleration, a 3-fold speed increase. What others cultivate in 1 day is equivalent to 3 days of cultivation for her. Yun Bing gasped, time-related things are truly monstrous, like she's cheating. Xiao Ye nodded. Don't underestimate Mu Qingsu just because her current realm is the lowest among the girls. In just a few days, she'll catch up to the other beast girls and then far surpass them. Sensing the arrival of Xiao Ye and Yun Bing, the 4 summoned beasts stopped cultivating and reverted to their human forms. Cheng Bingxi, with her super skinny, long legs, Nanguang Xiao, wielding a powerful landmine, the devilishly beautiful teaching assistant Liu Yat, and Mu Qingsu, with her long, straight black hair and budding figure. In a flash, the 4 stunning beast girls gathered around Xiao Ye, fluttering and melodious around him. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 392. Two people propose marriage, leaving everyone stunned and dumbfounded. Xie pounced on him, clinging to Xiao Ye, her slender white legs wrapped around his waist, her arms around his neck, squeezing him so tightly his large breasts were deformed. Xiao Ye flicked her twin ponytails, cupping her shapely buttocks with one hand, and chuckled, "You don't need to cultivate so hard all the time. You need to rest and relax occasionally." Xie, okay. Cheng Bingxi huffed, "You're so busy, you never have time for us." "What, you finally remembered us today?" The other beast girls also looked at him with resentment. Yunbing chuckled, somewhat gloating. Xiao Ye chuckled, "Haha, isn't that why I am here to keep you company? I'll treat you to a big meal tonight." Hearing the words big meal, all three beast girls except Mu Kingsu's eyes lit up. Xie giggled, after eating the grand banquet at the city Lord Kingsu's mansion, we're not used to ordinary food anymore. Xiao Ye laughed, "This time, the feast will be even more grand than the banquet itself, satisfying you all." Yunbing added, "This time, the chef is one of the top 10 national-level chefs." "A national-level chef?" Hearing this, even Mu Kingsu's beautiful eyes lit up. Xie couldn't wait any longer, swallowed hard, and said, "Then what are we waiting for? Where is the feast? Let's go now." Xiao Ye said, "No rush, we can eat tonight." "Where's Kinzir? Call her." Time passed, and it was 6 o'clock in the evening. Inside Villa Number 2 in the Lakeview Villa District. The round table had been replaced with a 10-meter-long, 2-meter-wide, self-rotating table with a conveyor belt. Cheng Bingxi, Xie, Liu Yan, Mu Kingsu, Yunbing, Yunzai, Huanfu Xiangling, and Kinzir, holding tableware, sat on stools waiting. Xiao Ye led Ziran and Jinpeng in from outside, introducing them. "This is Ziran, the leader of the Supreme Alliance. This is Jinpeng, a supreme-level chef specializing in state banquets, ranked third in the national culinary world." Cheng Bingxi and the other girls hadn't met Ziran before, they had been cultivating when she last visited Shanghai. Ziran swayed her slender waist and gracefully walked to the group, her pure and beautiful face beaming with a smile. Cheng Bingxi, Xie, Liu Yan, and Mu Kingsu were immediately struck by her stunning beauty, their attention completely drawn to her. "My goodness, the leader of the Supreme Alliance. This is a super big shot. I can't believe I met her here. So beautiful. She's got the face of a first love, a white moonlight. Xiao Ye, you're so proud of yourself. You even know such a beauty." The beast girls exclaimed in amazement. Ziran smiled sweetly and said, "Thank you for the compliment, Jinpeng, serve the food." Jinpeng stared wide-eyed at the large group of stunning beauties, thinking in shock, "Holy crap, have I entered a land of women? Every single one of them is gorgeous, their looks are no less than the alliance leaders, only their temperaments are different. But the alliance leader is the #1 beauty in the capital." After a few glances, he looked away. He had already been warned by the alliance leader that these beast girls were all the alliance leader's husband's women. Jinpeng took out bowls of exquisite dishes from his storage ring and placed them on the rotating conveyor belt. Braised lion's head meatballs, goblin kidneys, steamed mermaid, desserts, cakes, hand-pulled chicken, and so on. There were 66 dishes in total. Each one was fragrant and delicious. Not only did they look beautiful, but the unique aromas of various foods wafted from the dishes, filling everyone's noses with fragrance. Many of the beast girls' mouths were watering. Except for Ziran, Huanfu Xiangling, Kinzir, and Yunzai, under Xiao Ye's guidance, everyone started eating. Cheng Bingxi, Xie, and Liu Ya grabbed a dessert, their mouths agape, eyes shining, and they buried their faces in it. Huanfu Xiangling pulled Ziran close, sitting next to her, her face full of excitement as she whispered, "Master, thank you so much. You've thought of everything for your disciple, even preparing delicious food as a help." Ziran didn't understand what she meant. What did she mean by for her disciple? The occasion wasn't right, so she didn't press the matter, only sending a telepathic message, "Wait, don't say anything out of line. I can handle it myself." Huanfu Xiangling grinned, "Okay. Her master had taken care of everything, leaving her completely uninvolved. She was truly too good to her. Xie looked anxious. Why hadn't Daddy arrived yet? It was already 6 o'clock. Young Xie looked at Ziren with a complicated expression. When she learned that Ziren had fallen for Xiao Ye, she hadn't believed it, but when she learned that Ziren would be proposing tonight, she was stunned. Yunbing smiled and said, Bixi, CIO, Ziren is my and Young Xie's best friend. Don't let her status as the leader of the Supreme Alliance fool you. She's actually quite a simpleton. She's very easy to get along with, kind, upright, helpful, and a caring older sister. Ziren covered her mouth and smiled. This was the first time she'd heard such praise from Yunbing. This best friend is truly there for you. Cheng Bingxi raised her face, smeared with dessert, and smiled. Since you're Yunbing's best friend, then you'll be our Ziren's sister from now on. Nangguang Xiao agreed. Yes, Ziren's sister. Ahem. Xiao Ye interjected. Actually, Ziren is hosting this big meal today because she has something very important to tell everyone. Huangfu Xiangling was extremely excited, muttering, finally here, finally here. Young Xie's pretty face showed some annoyance. Xie kept staring at the door, her little hands gripping the cutlery tightly, barely eating a few bites. The 4 beast girls slowed their eating pace slightly, diverting some attention to the food. Ziren stood up, walked to Xiao Ye's side, and affectionately put her arm around his shoulder, smiling brightly as she said, Sisters, Ziren has come today to propose marriage to Xiao Ye. After experiencing a series of events with Xiao Ye, Ziren has fallen irrevocably in love with him, and has fallen for this little brother. I, Ziren, want to marry Xiao Ye, form a contract with him, and become his beast girl. Here, I hope to obtain everyone's consent to let me join Xiao Ye's beast girl family. Cheng Bingxi? Nangguang Xiao? Liu Yak? Mu Qingsu? Huangfu Xiangling? Xie? Huh? The 4 girls, Cheng Bingxi and Xie, froze, their pretty faces blank. What was going on? What feast? This was a trap. Huangfu Xiangling and Xie were completely dumbfounded. Wait, did Master make a mistake? Wasn't Xiao Ye's marriage partner me? Why is it Master? My goodness. It wasn't by Mao who was going to marry Xiao Ye, it was by Mao's master. This news is too explosive. Yunbing gave Xiao Ye a wink, her eyes saying, quickly take charge and say something. A confident smile appeared on Xiao Ye's face. He stood up, about to speak, when a knock sounded at the door, accompanied by a hearty laugh. Brother Xiao, long time no see, how have you been? Since the villa door had been open, everyone saw Qin Tai, with piles of exquisite gift boxes floating behind him, enter. Xie's face lit up with joy, her daddy had finally arrived. Qin Tai clasped his hands and said, Brother Xiao, I've come to propose marriage to you on behalf of my daughter Xie. Ah, this. Xiao Ye was stunned. Chapter 393 White-haired girl, I've become a clown. Why did this unexpected troublemaker suddenly appear and propose marriage to? Xiao Ye opened his mouth, his face full of stunned silence. Cheng Bingxi and the other 3 girls were also shocked. Seriously? This banquet really is a Red Alliance banquet. Sister Ziren just proposed marriage, and now Xie's father is proposing again. The most bewildered was Huangfu Xiangling. That afternoon, she was bragging to Xie about getting married, but it turned out her master wasn't proposing marriage for her, and now Xie's father was doing it too. She, by Mao, had become the clown. Qin Tai took his seat next to Xie. Yunbing brought him a set of cutlery, then stared at him with a complicated expression, saying helplessly, City Lord Qin, are you really going to propose marriage for your daughter? Xie was overjoyed. In her mind, whatever she needed, her father would do his best to get it for her, and this proposal was no exception. With her father involved, the success rate of this proposal was 100%. Qin Tai replied, Yes, Xie has long admired Xiao Ye and wants to become his beast girl and form a contract with him. I trust Brother Xiao's character, he's a good man worthy of my trust, so I've come to propose. Brother Xiao, I hope you'll consider your marriage to Xie. Xiao Ye thought to himself, thank you for the compliment, I didn't know I was so good. Xie lowered her head, her face flushed, her beautiful eyes constantly glancing at Xiao Ye, watching his reaction. But she was disappointed. Xiao Ye's face showed only surprise, nothing else. Xiao Ye was helpless. Being with Xie wasn't something he could just decide to do. Adding a new Beast Girl to the Beast Girl family required the consent of Cheng Bingxi and the other Beast Girls. "Let's eat first, and we'll talk about it afterward," Yun Bing said with a smile, seeing Xiao Ye's helplessness. Qin Tai nodded, his gaze sweeping around. Suddenly, his eyes widened in surprise. "This purple-clad lady looks familiar. Have we met somewhere before?" Ziran's pure and pretty face remained expressionless, but a hint of anger flickered in her beautiful eyes. HMPH, if it weren't for this person's sudden visit, Xiao Ye's Beast Girls might have already agreed to her marriage with Xiao Ye, the Supreme Alliance leader, Ziran. Ziran's voice was somewhat cold. Qin Tai smiled. "So it's the Alliance leader. It's an honor to meet you here. It's a pleasure to see you." After he finished speaking, the scene fell silent, the atmosphere extremely awkward. Qin Tai scratched his head, somewhat puzzled. Qin Zir leaned closer and whispered, "Before you came, Sister Ziran had just proposed to Xiao Ye. She also wanted to marry Xiao Ye, form a contract with him, and become his Beast Girl. Your sudden arrival disrupted her proposal." Qin Tai's eyes widened in shock. Holy crap! Ziran, the leader of the Supreme Alliance, a rumored quasi-saint at the Great Perfection stage, also wants to marry Xiao Ye. This news was like an 18-magnitude earthquake, shaking Qin Tai's worldview and understanding. Xiao Ye is only 18 years old. Ziran, a figure like her, actually has her eye on him. The atmosphere froze. Cheng Bingxi, Nanguang Xiao, Liu Yan, and Mu Qingsu, the four Beast Girls, even lost their appetite. Their beautiful eyes kept drifting towards Xiao Ye, filled with resentment and bitterness. Xiao Ye was uneasy, avoiding their gazes. The white-haired girl, Huangfu Xiangling, suddenly chuckled. Her master's marriage proposal had been ruined by City Lord Qin, making the atmosphere so tense. So, both proposals might not succeed. That's really great. The white-haired girl gloated inwardly. HMPH, I clearly liked Xiao Ye first. My master is actually competing with her disciple for a man. How outrageous. Master, you should act like a master. Be magnanimous and give Xiao Ye to your disciple. If Ziran knew what she was thinking, she'd probably give her a flick on the forehead. She'd been single for 1,500 years, finally met a man she liked, and now she wanted to give him up? Dream on. Standing in the corner, Jin Peng's plump face was full of admiration. He was filled with respect for Xiao Ye. At this moment, Xiao Ye had become a figure of profound affection in his heart. The stunningly beautiful Beast Girls that others dreamed of were now coming to him in droves, actively proposing marriage. As Xiao Ye's first wife, Cheng Bingxi, seeing the situation was somewhat tense, wiped the dessert smeared on her face. After cleaning the cream, a smile appeared on her still immature face. She said, "Please be patient, everyone. Two proposals at once have caught Xiao Ye off guard. He'll give you an answer once he's thought it through." "Right, Xiao Ye." She glared at Xiao Ye fiercely. Nanguang Xiao murmured, "That's right, Xiao Ye is good at everything, his only flaw is that he likes to flirt with Beast Girls. It hasn't even been a week, and he's already hooked up with another stunningly beautiful Beast Girl." Liu Ye and Mu Qingsu didn't speak, but the resentful look in their beautiful eyes spoke volumes. Yun Bing's heart skipped a beat as she watched the scene unfold, thinking, "Oh no, this banquet is probably a waste." Xiao Ye cares most about these Beast Girls, especially Cheng Bingxi's feelings. Yun's eyes suddenly felt a surge of secret joy. Seeing Xiao Ye being proposed to one after another, she felt a pang of resentment and jealousy. Ziran and Qin Tai also turned their gazes towards Xiao Ye. Xiao Ye chuckled awkwardly, "Bingxi, these things are beyond my control. Sister Ziran, Brother Qin, let's postpone the marriage proposal another day. Let's call it off today." He was very helpless. If only Ziran had proposed today, he was confident he could control the situation and get Cheng Bingxi and the other women to agree. But Qin Tai's interference had disrupted the purpose of the banquet, greatly increasing the resentment of Cheng Bingxi and the other women. If he agreed to all of them, it would likely hurt their feelings. Qin Tai, being perceptive, sighed. Today's marriage proposal was probably off, and all the prepared gifts were wasted. Ziran and Qin Zir's beautiful eyes dimmed, their hearts filled with disappointment. Xiao Ye said sullenly, "Everyone, keep eating. You haven't even touched the food much?" Cheng Bingxi, Nanguang Xiao, and Liu Ye, true to their foodie nature, buried their faces in the food again, enjoying their meal. Everyone was preoccupied with their own thoughts, and the meal lasted quite a while. Half an hour later, the banquet finally came to an end. Everyone sat back down, drinking tea after the meal. Jin Peng, who had been standing in the corner, came over to clear the table and then scurried away, not wanting to get involved in this chaotic scene. Yun Bing suddenly said, "Bixi, CIO, the reason for this sudden marriage proposal is that Ziran's innocence was taken away by Xiao Ye. She only recognizes one person in her life, and now that her innocence has been taken away, she has no choice but to marry Xiao Ye." Everyone present was shocked, including Xiao Ye, whose lips twitched. Was that true? Ziran was somewhat bewildered. My innocence was taken away? How come I didn't know? Qin Tai, as the city lord, saw everyone's reactions and knew the truth. He secretly gave Ziran a thumbs up and said, "That was a brilliant move." Sure enough, Cheng Bingxi looked at Xiao Ye with a disappointed expression and asked, "Xiao Ye, is what Sister Yun Bing said true?" Xiao Ye nodded somewhat guiltily, his old face turning red, and said, "Yes." Chapter 394 Qin Tai, let's marry them both. He felt incredibly guilty and ashamed, and at that moment, he didn't even dare to look Cheng Bingxi in the eye. However, based on his understanding of Cheng Bingxi, she wasn't the kind of person who was single-minded. Receiving a response, Cheng Bingxi's beautiful eyes flashed with deep disappointment, her pretty face turning pale with anger. She pointed a finger at him and said angrily, "You heartless womanizer. I really misjudged you. With so many beast girls at home, why did you have to go to the capital and ruin other people's lives? We're not that ugly. If you need anything, just say so, and we'll give it to you. But now, you've actually taken the virginity of a beast girl who hasn't even formed a contract yet. You really are going too far." Nangguang Xiao was also breathless with anger, her large, erect breasts heaving with her movements, clearly furious. She slammed her small fist on the table, creating a small dent with a loud thud, and cursed, "Xiao Ye, you scumbag. You've forgotten your old love as soon as you have a new one. We can't even see you, and you've gone off to the capital to pick up a new beast girl. It's infuriating. HMPH, we can't bear to hit you, but I'm going to tell the old director to come and beat you. He'll whip you hard, teach you a lesson." The old director Nangguang Xiao was referring to was the old man at the Sunshine Welfare Home in Mangyeong Bay City, who had taken in the orphan Xiao Ye and raised him until he was 18. Cheng Bingxi nodded, "Yes, Xiao Ye deserves a good beating. An elder should give him a few lashes to teach him a lesson." Xiao Ye's face darkened. He glared at Yun Bing, thinking, what a brilliant idea. You're sending me to the brink of disaster. After their outburst, Cheng Bingxi and Nangguang Xiao sullenly sipped their tea in silence. Liu Ye and Mu Qingsu's lips moved slightly, but they didn't verbally blame Xiao Ye. However, their resentful eyes revealed their inner turmoil. Xiao Ye was also frustrated. It seemed impossible to persuade these beast girls to agree to Ziran's relationship with him now. After thinking for a moment, he took out his satellite communicator from under the table, edited a few messages, and sent them to his two fathers-in-law in Mangyeong Bay City, namely Cheng Bingxi's and Nangguang Xiao's fathers, the former second high dog director of Mangyeong Bay City and the city lord of Mangyeong Bay City. "Father-in-law, it's extremely urgent. Bingxi, CIO, is angry because of some things. Please call me immediately and say a few good words for me. Thank you very much." After sending the message, he put away the satellite communicator. In his haste, his hand touched Ziran's long leg, who was sitting next to him. Ziran rolled her eyes at him and privately whispered, "Even at a time like this, you still have the mood to take advantage of me. You really are a womanizer, HMPH. This marriage proposal is most likely to fail. It will be even more difficult to succeed in proposing again in the future." Xiao Ye's lips twitched, speechless. When did he take advantage of her? This tea might not taste very good. Drink this instead. He took out a supreme-level enlightenment tea canister, put 3 enlightenment tea leaves into a new teapot, and brewed a pot of enlightenment tea. Then he handed the full canister of enlightenment tea to Cheng Bingxi, smiling and saying, "Bingxi, you keep this. It tastes good." Cheng Bingxi pushed the tea canister towards Nangguang Xiao and snorted, "I don't want it. You can give it to your new beast girl." Xiao Ye returned to his seat somewhat awkwardly, thinking to himself, "Oh no. This is really bad." This is the first time he has seen Cheng Bingxi so angry that she doesn't even want to talk to him. Yun Bing was also somewhat embarrassed. She thought that after revealing Ziran's innocence had been taken away, Cheng Bingxi would kindly agree to Ziran's marriage proposal, but now she had been overthinking it. Cheng Bingxi wasn't a robot, she had emotions too. She could be jealous, envious, and angry. She wasn't the kind of person who unconditionally and emotionlessly sided with Xiao Ye. Ring ring. Ring ring. Just then, 2 rings sounded simultaneously. Cheng Bingxi and Nangong Xiao took out their communicators and glanced at them, both of them startled. It's Dad. It's Father. Smiles returned to their pretty faces, and they answered the call immediately without trying to avoid suspicion, though they didn't play their voices aloud. Bingxi, how have you been lately? Me? I'm doing very well. Thanks to Xiao Ye, your dad is no longer the 3 High Dog director. A few days ago, I became the Deputy City Lord of Mangyeong Base City, in charge of the Secret Realms Authority and the base city's economy. As for your mom, thanks to Xiao Ye, since the Magic City Base City's support, our cultivation levels have risen to the Grandmaster realm. Your mom has become younger, the wrinkles on her face have completely disappeared, she's become more beautiful, and she's always smiling. She's incredibly happy. By the way, did you and Xiao Ye have a little disagreement? Bingxi, I'm not trying to criticize you, but you need to be more understanding of Xiao Ye. As a man, Xiao Ye sometimes has to do things against his will, and he can't always prioritize the bigger picture. He might have overlooked your feelings, but that's forgivable. Anyway, listen to your dad, apologize to him, be more considerate and understanding, and go along with him. Xiao Ye won't let you down. Cheng Bingxi listened intently, her pretty face shifting between smiles and frowns, her beautiful eyes filled with complex emotions. Finally, she sighed, okay, Dad, I understand. Beside her, Nangong Xiao was also on the phone with her father. Dad, why did you suddenly call me? I missed you, Xiao. Can I even call my daughter? Sure, Dad can call anytime he wants. Nangong Xiao replied. Xiao, I'm calling you to share some good news from home, we've been promoted. Mangyeong Base City has jumped 2 levels from a low-level base city to a high-level base city, and your mother and I have reached the venerable realm. We have to thank Xiao Ye for this. Without him, I probably would have passed away in another 100 years. Now that our realm has improved, we can live for another 400 years. Now, your mother and I are truly proud and can say we've brought honor to our ancestors. We're very happy every day, all thanks to Xiao Ye. I heard you and Xiao Ye had a little hiccup? Daughter, as a woman, you need to be more magnanimous and consider Xiao Ye's perspective in everything you do. Try to see things from his point of view and treat him well. Like your mother, be the considerate and gentle woman behind a man. If you do that, Xiao Ye will love you even more. Nangong Xiao opened her mouth, her face slightly dazed. Hello, Xiao, are you listening? Nangong Xiao nodded vigorously. Yes, I'm listening. Good, I'm listening. Father hopes you'll become like your mother, a gentle and considerate woman. Okay, Father has something to do, we'll talk again next time. The other end hung up. Nangong Xiao stared blankly at the communicator in her hand. Xiao Ye was delighted to see the two answer the phone, but he was also very nervous and uneasy. After 2 minutes of silence, Cheng Bingxi looked up at Xiao Ye and smiled. Xiao Ye, since you like Sister Ziran, just accept her marriage proposal. Nangong Xiao nodded in agreement. Yes, if you think one beast girl isn't enough, accept Uncle Qin's marriage proposal as well. Qin Tai was overjoyed and hurriedly added, that's right, marry them both. Xiao Ye, marry both beast girls at the same time. Ah, this. Xiao Ye was stunned, marry them both? Chapter 395. A wedding will be held simultaneously. Cheng Bingxi looked at Nangong Xiao with surprise. No, sister, letting him marry one is already generous and understanding enough, why are you telling him to take them both? Nangong Xiao stuck out her tongue and winked playfully. Sister Bingxi, you know what Qin Zier's feelings are for Xiao Ye. Marrying such a pure girl is a lot of fun. So why not just let Xiao Ye marry two at the same time? Cheng Bingxi was stunned. Who's more fun, you or Xiao Ye? Qin Tai spoke up in time. Zier is a good girl, kind-hearted, gentle and virtuous. She's definitely a good beast girl, marrying her will bring good fortune. Qin Zier raised her hand and said sweetly, my attributes are blessing and curse. I can actively bless and curse. After joining the beast girl family, I'll add blessings to everyone every day. Then she glanced at Xiao Ye with her beautiful eyes, her face flushing red, and said, Xiao Ye, I like you, I want to marry you. After saying that, Xie lowered her head, her blush reaching her ears. Cheng Bingxi and Nangong Xiao were both stunned. A confession on the spot? Xie, with her gentle personality, could overcome her shyness and bravely confess her love in front of everyone? Xiao Ye swallowed his tea. This girl is so cute, it would be fun to marry her. Ziran glared at Xiao Ye, feeling jealous. HMPH, this guy really is a scumbag who randomly flirts with beast girls. I haven't even married him yet, and another beast girl has come along. Ziran also deeply understood Cheng Bingxi's helplessness and anger, and empathized with her. Cheng Bingxi snorted coldly and said softly, Xiao Ye, it's up to you to decide who you want to marry, or both. As long as you marry her, we'll treat her like a sister. Don't spend too much time outside your life, spend more time with us. Nangong Xiao chimed in, Xiao Ye, I want to be a considerate and kind woman like my mother. Go ahead and marry her, we already have so many beast girls, 2 more won't make a difference. Seeing Cheng Bingxi and Nangong Xiao relent, Qin Tai and Ziran's gazes both fell on Xiao Ye. Qin Tai's gaze was expectant. Ziran's gaze was sharp, like a knife, her words seeming to say, think carefully before you speak. She, the dignified leader of the Supreme Alliance, would lose all face if word got out that she and another beast girl were both marrying the same man. Xiao Ye blushed and coughed, saying, I've known about Xie's feelings for a long time, but I haven't formally responded due to certain reasons. Since Uncle Qin is so enthusiastic, and Xie is so devoted to me, I can't refuse your wishes. Sister Ziran, Xie, I agree to both of your marriage proposals. Ha ha ha. Qin Tai laughed heartily. Good, Xiao Ye, you're truly a great man. Ziran glanced at Qin Tai speechlessly. Making your daughter a concubine, serving the same man as another beast girl, and you can still laugh, and laugh so happily. Ziran glared at Xiao Ye and snorted, I can't be with another woman in the bridal chamber. HMPH, this is the biggest concession I've made. Ah. Xiao Ye hadn't thought that far ahead, he was very innocent. He nodded and smiled, well, it's up to you, I'm fine with anything, he. You disagree now, but you'll agree later, he added inwardly. He. Qin Xie couldn't stop smiling, she was extremely happy. Looking at his daughter's beaming face, Qin Tai sighed inwardly. He felt helpless that his daughter was marrying Xiao Ye alongside other beast girls. He hadn't been able to give her the best, the most perfect. But Xiao Ye already had 4 beast girls. After thinking it over, he decided that as long as his daughter was happy, it didn't matter whether she married one or another. In short, his daughter couldn't be Xiao Ye's only one, and she couldn't have him all to herself. Qin Tai had long ago come to understand this deeply and had chosen to accept it. Xiao Ye proposed, since that's the case, Sister Ziran, Xie, let's set a good date, and I'll marry you both on that day, how about it? Ziran snorted, whatever you like. Qin Xie looked at Xiao Ye with delighted eyes and agreed, sure. Xiao Ye smiled and made the final decision, then it's settled. Tomorrow, the wedding will be held at the Shanghai Wedding Hotel. Sister Ziran, Xie, you two should prepare yourselves mentally for getting married today. Xiangling, Uncle Qin, Bingxi, Sister Yunbing, sending out invitations and all that stuff is up to you. Qin Tai, Yunbing, and Chang Bingxi all nodded in agreement. Huangfu Xiangling. They all agreed that their marriage proposals would fail, but they all succeeded, and now they're going to have their weddings at the same time, marrying Xiao Ye together? At this moment, the white-haired girl felt extremely depressed and worried. It's over. Her master has Xiao Ye, so she, as his disciple, can't possibly marry him. At least, she had never heard of a disciple and master marrying the same person at the same time. Sigh. I've become a clown. Huangfu Xiangling sighed deeply, feeling very depressed. Qin Xie nudged the white-haired girl with her fair elbow and chuckled, white-haired girl, you must come to my wedding banquet. I'll let you sit at the children's table, so no one will fight you for food. Huangfu Xiangling gritted her teeth in anger. Wasn't that what she had said to Qin Xie that afternoon? HMPH, I want to eat at my master's banquet, she retorted angrily. Back then, she had been dreaming of when she could eat at her master's banquet, but less than a month had passed, and she was already eating at Ziran's banquet. She loved banquets, but eating at her master's and Xiao Ye's banquets made her feel very depressed. Qin Xie chuckled and said, it's all the same. Huangfu Xiangling felt even more depressed, a galloping horse running through her mind. Sister, what's wrong? Yun Bing saw that Yun Zai's face was expressionless, and her once clear and bright eyes were now dull and lifeless, making her look very depressed. It's nothing, my period just started. Young Xie shook her head, but the disappointment in her eyes couldn't be contained. Yun Bing scratched her head, completely puzzled, and muttered, didn't you and my period start on the same day? Mine didn't come, so why did you come? Could breaking through to the saint realm affect my period? Forget it, if you can't figure it out, don't think about it anymore. Sister, you didn't come when Xiao Ye and I got married, but you absolutely have to come to Ziren's wedding this time. Don't hide at home and secretly cultivate. Yun Bing urged. Young Xie wanted to refuse. For some reason, the thought of Xiao Ye's wedding to Ziren and Qin Zir filled her with a sense of loss and pain. Subconsciously, she wanted to escape, not want to face it, so she didn't want to attend the wedding or eat at the banquet. Yun Bing interrupted her, her tone resolute. Your physical defect is resolved. You're not that emotionless robot anymore. This time, you absolutely have to attend the wedding and eat at the banquet. Young Xie glared at her unhappily. Fine, I'll go. Chapter 396 Solving the Ziren Template Problem. It's 6:30 p.m. now. The wedding is tomorrow, and Qin Tai, Huanfu Xiangling, Yun Bing, and the others are busy booking venues, setting up the scene, writing invitations, sending invitations via special teleportation, and so on. Since it's the largest wedding hotel in Shanghai, the hotel will quickly set up the scene according to their requirements. Xiao Ye, meanwhile, had Ziren use ultra-long-distance teleportation to return to Manggaoan Base City and upgrade the talent levels of Chen Bingxi and Nangang Xiao's parents from A-level and S-level to SSS level. After the upgrade, he set up a supreme-level defensive array at the Sunshine Welfare Home and personally equipped the old director with a continuously usable ultra-long-distance teleportation item and a continuously usable quasi-saint level defensive treasure. Whenever he encounters danger, the defensive treasure's defense mechanism will be triggered, or the teleportation mechanism will be triggered, teleporting him to Kunpeng Academy in Shanghai. After doing all this, Xiao Ye and Ziren returned to Kunpeng Academy, to the vice-director's villa. It was already deserted, everyone had left, and Qin Zir had gone back to prepare for the wedding. Only Xiao Ye and Ziren remained. Xiao Ye lay lazily on the sofa and laughed. Sister Ziren, are you satisfied now? You can finally marry me. I'll solve your template problem first. Ziren's template problem wasn't resolved yet. The last time, it was only a temporary fix for her physical defect. Didn't you say that the template problem could only be solved after resolving the physical defect? She asked, her innocent face full of confusion. Xiao Ye chuckled. If I solve your template problem all at once, how am I supposed to massage you? Ziren's beautiful eyes widened, her pretty face darkening. So you're saying you can solve my template problem directly, but you have to massage me first, taking advantage of me? HMPH, Xiao Ye, so that's the kind of person you are. Xiao Ye shrugged dismissively, laughing. Don't think of me so badly. We weren't that close before. I certainly wouldn't do something as earth-shattering as solving a template problem. It's better to be safe than sorry. What if you use me as a guinea pig? Ziren looked at him with a complicated expression. With my relationship with Xiao Bing, isn't it worth you solving my template problem all at once? Xiao Ye shook his head, then nodded, saying, you've been separated for about 1,000 years. Who can guarantee your relationship hasn't changed? You might seem to have a good relationship on the surface, but it could all be an act. Alright, get ready. I'll start solving your template problem. You can directly form a contract with me at the wedding tomorrow. Ziren looked around. Although no one was around, she was still in the living room. Xiao Ye didn't think much of it and nodded, saying, yes, it's right here. Where else would we go? Alright then. Ziren blushed, raised her hand to set up a shield around herself, and then quickly unbuttoned her skirt. The purple skirt slid down her slender, fair body. Next, she was going to unbutton her 2 pairs of underwear. Xiao Ye hurriedly stopped her, exclaiming, I'm just fixing your template problem. Why are you taking it off? Ziren asked, isn't fixing a template problem like fixing a physical defect, requiring a massage? Xiao Ye's lips twitched. No, you don't need to. Put your skirt back on. Ziren rolled her eyes, displeased. Why didn't you say so earlier? I was so embarrassed for nothing. Xiao Ye laughed. If you want to be naked, I won't mind. HMPH. Ziran quickly put on her purple skirt and buttoned it up. It's not our wedding night. I'm not going to let you have it for nothing. Xiao Ye didn't care. Suit yourself. You'll be mine sooner or later anyway. You can do whatever you want with it. He turned on the template adjuster. Template adjuster investigating. SSS rank devouring gluttonous emperor template. Upgradable. The target possesses 12 rule fragment crystals. 4 creation type, 4 devouring type, and 4 creative type. Template issue. During awakening, the creative type rule fragment crystals were forcibly infused with rule power that the target could not awaken on its own, causing template instability. Solution 1. Remove 2 creation type crystals and use the template adjuster to repair and stabilize the template. After the template stabilizes, the target's attributes will be devouring type and creative type. Solution 2. Remove 4 creative type crystals, integrate 2 devouring type crystals, and use the template adjuster to repair and stabilize the template. After the template stabilizes, the target's attributes will be devouring type. Body defect. Due to the template issue, the rule power leaked out, causing the body to swell and develop, resulting in a narcissistic personality. Solution. Use the Zhuanghuang gemstone to assist in massaging and guiding out the chaotic rule power deep within the target's body. Xiao Ye's idea is to remove 2 creation type crystals. There are 2 solutions. The first solution will result in you having 2 attributes, devouring and creation. The second solution will result in you having only 1 attribute, devouring. You can't comprehend your current creation skill because the power of creation rules conflicts with your template and doesn't quite fit your body. But don't worry, I have a way to make it match your body perfectly. So, which solution do you want? He asked after explaining. Creation? Hearing this, Ziran's pretty face became worried, but this expression was fleeting. She said, I choose the first solution. Xiao Ye smiled. Very good, that's what I thought too. Immediately, he issued a command to the template adjuster, activating the template repair function, taking out 2 creation type crystals, and repairing and stabilizing the template. A template, a term from the Beast Girl era, corresponds to every aspect of the human body, from the microscopic to the macroscopic, from genes to size, connecting everything. Buzz buzz buzz. A supreme, mysterious power descended upon Ziran. Ziran felt as if she were bathed in cosmic chaos. Her genes, DNA, cells, internal organs, limbs, and head all being transformed in every aspect by a single force. She felt incredibly comfortable, even more so than when Xiao Ye massaged her, much more pleasurable than when Xiao Ye played with her. Xiao Ye was somewhat taken aback. Ziran hovered in midair, looking completely blissful, and even uttering suggestive sounds. Holy crap, is it really that good? Then, the power of creation type rule slowly overflowed from her body, and under the condensation of a mysterious force, formed 2 creation type crystals. After the crystals were removed, Ziran's new template, under the repair of the supreme power, transformed her entire body, making the template and her body 100% compatible. 10 minutes later, she fell from midair. Template repair complete. SSS level gluttonous emperor template. Attributes, devouring, creation. After falling from the sky, a profound aura emanated from Ziran. She immediately sat cross-legged on the ground, closed her eyes, and entered a state of enlightenment. One by one, creative abilities surfaced in her mind, and she comprehended them. An hour later, Ziran opened her eyes, a wise light shining from them. She raised her hand, and mysterious energy flowed in her small hand, as if pulling illusion into reality. A plate of steaming goblin kidneys appeared in her small hand. Creation is also manifestation, imagining something out of thin air, and manifesting it out of thin air. Ziran's melodious voice rang out. Chapter 397 Sister Ziran, you're really hungry. Looking at the steaming goblin kidneys, Xiao Ye wondered if Ziran had some kind of obsession with these kidneys. Otherwise, why would her first manifestation be of this kind? The supreme-level goblin kidneys she ate last time still had their power sealed within her body, not yet unleashed. Ziran brought her delicate face close to the plate, opened her rosy lips, and sipped a bite. She chewed it slowly, and after 2 seconds, her face lit up with joy. She grinned and said, it's exactly the same as Jin Peng's. It tastes amazing. Hey, Xiao Ye, do you want some? Xiao Ye took a step back, looking resistant. This is a manifestation of my innate skill. Who knows if it's edible? Just by the taste, can you be sure it's exactly the same as real food? Maybe it's poisonous. Ziran smiled and explained, with my creative attribute, I awakened a talent skill called manifestation. To manifest anything, you need to understand its structure, properties, and that it actually existed before I can start building from its structure, adding properties and functions, and finally manifesting it. It's not like I can just imagine a goblin kidney and manifest it. Xiao Ye's resistance vanished. He stepped forward, took the plate of goblin kidneys, and quickly began eating them as if they were snacks, the delicious flavor of the broth exploding in his mouth. Wow! They were indeed exactly the same as those made by Chef Jinpeng. However, this is a bit low grade. It's only venerable level goblin kidneys. The taste isn't as good as supreme level goblin kidneys. Xiao Ye said in surprise. Ziran explained, at my current highest level, I can materialize anything in the Saint realm. As long as it has existed in the world and its structure, properties, and functions are understood, I can materialize it. However, the higher the level of the materialized item, the longer it takes. I can materialize items at the venerable realm level instantly. I estimate it will take a day for items at the great venerable realm level. I predict it will take 1 or 2 months for items at the supreme realm level, and for saint realm level items, it will take much longer, possibly 1 or 2 years. I can materialize a goblin's offspring at the venerable realm level the fastest, otherwise, I have to wait. Ziran sharing this secret talent with Xiao Ye shows that she truly considers him one of her own, her husband. Xiao Ye nodded in agreement with Ziran's words. Creating and materializing things out of thin air is already an incredible feat. If Saint Realm items could be created and materialized instantly, it would be truly astonishing. The lifespan of a Saint Realm cultivator exceeds 10,000 years, a year or two is but a blink of an eye for them. Then, Ziran continuously created plate after plate of goblin kidneys in milliseconds, stuffing them into Xiao Ye's hands and urging, eat quickly, once you finish today, you might not be able to eat them again. Today, I will do my best to satisfy you. As she said this, a deep worry flashed in the depths of her beautiful eyes, but she hid it well. Xiao Ye smiled and shook his head, saying, from now on, you are my lawfully wedded wife. I can eat whenever I want, whether it's goblin kidneys or you, anytime. Ziran's pretty face flushed red. I won't let you eat them. How about we shine 10 plates of goblin kidneys today? As if she had made up her mind, the worry in her beautiful eyes deepened as she spoke. Seeing her enthusiasm, Xiao Ye couldn't refuse, so he said, I can eat, but if you make me eat so much kidney tonifying food, what if I get aroused? You have to help me relieve that fire. The goblin race is a peculiar race known for its reproduction. They're either reproducing or on their way to reproduce every day, which shows how powerful their kidneys are. Eating so many goblins is equivalent to drinking hundreds of bottles of super kidney tonic, which would arouse a person's bestiality. Ziran's pure and pretty face turned rosy, and she said reproachfully, today, I'll do whatever you want. Xiao Ye's eyes lit up, and he readily agreed, okay, then conjure up 10 cases of iced cola, 10 cases of iced beer, 10 plates of goblins, 10 plates of grilled oysters, 10 plates of grilled lion's legs, and 10 plates of grilled Red Bull. And cumin, chili powder, iodized salt, and other seasonings. It's just skewers, I'm best at that, he said with a smile. Seeing his enthusiasm, Ziran glanced at his muscular physique and swallowed hard. Okay, whatever you want. Tonight, you can do whatever you want, anything is fine with me, she hinted. Then, Ziran instantly conjured drinks, beer, barbecue, and kidneys, placing them on the long wooden table, filling it to the brim. There were over 100 plates in total, 50 of which were goblin oysters. Xiao Ye laughed heartily. Great! Tonight, let's eat our fill. The atmosphere was very cheerful, and Ziran's mood was infectious. A relaxed smile appeared on her pretty face, and much of the worry in her eyes dissipated. Xiao Ye, I want to eat this, feed me, she giggled, opening her cherry-like mouth and leaning forward to be fed. You're making me drool. Xiao Ye used his utensils to pick up 2 grilled oysters and stuffed them into her mouth. Ziran also picked up 2 goblin oysters and fed them to him. Next came ice-cold cola and ice-cold beer, 1 bottle each, chugging straight down their throats. Xiao Ye was amazed by Ziran's prowess. She could down a whole bottle in one go. An hour passed, and all the food on the table was gone, along with 3 cases of cola and beer. Xiao Ye felt something was off. Of the 50-odd plates of goblin food, Ziran had fed him over 40. Why did she always feed him goblin food? He wasn't thinking much of it since they were getting married tomorrow, assuming it was just Ziran's quirky sense of humor. Ugh. He patted his full stomach and let out a long burp. Sister Ziran, I'm going back now, see you tomorrow. This fire, hold it in until tomorrow night, I can handle it. Don't worry, your man has great self-control. Xiao Ye waved and headed outside, intending to return to his villa, but actually, he wanted to find Cheng Bingxi and the others. Ziran called out, wait? You're not allowed to leave. Her expression was a mixture of grief and determination, her beautiful eyes shimmering with sadness. She thought to herself, this is the last day. I will satisfy you. Xiao Ye scratched his head, puzzled, and turned back, asking, what? Ziran huffed, HMPH, this idiot. Why doesn't he understand what I'm saying? I've hinted at it so many times, doesn't he understand? I'm a young lady, and I've done more than enough for him. HMPH, after eating so many pills, you didn't even get aroused. You're no good. Ziran huffed, then suddenly grabbed him and rushed into the guest room on the 3rd floor, locking the door behind her. Then, to Xiao Ye's astonishment, her clothes fell to the floor. And she went into the attached bathroom. The bathroom door wasn't closed, and her slender figure was faintly visible in the billowing steam. 10 minutes later, Xiao Ye was stunned. She had actually come out naked, her beautiful eyes filled with determination, and her pretty face full of resolve. Ugh. Wait? I haven't washed yet. Before Xiao Ye could react, he was tackled to the ground, and no matter how he tried to stop her, he couldn't get Ziran to stop. Sister Ziran, you're really hungry, he complained. Chapter 398. Oh no. Ziran has disappeared. Like glue and lacquer, like fire and water merging. The sealed power within Xiao Ye was released by Ziran. He experienced Ziran's gentleness and passion. 2 hours later, the battle ended, and Xiao Ye fell into deep sleep. Ziran, fully dressed, lay by the bedside, looking at his handsome sleeping face, her beautiful eyes filled with sadness. From now on, you must live happily and joyfully, and treat Xiao Bing well. Don't think of me while I'm gone. For the rest of our lives, we probably won't have the chance to meet again. Even if we do meet, I might be too tainted to face you. She leaned down and kissed his handsome face, leaving a faint red lip print. Then, Ziran took out a heavy, special token engraved with the words Holy Clan, Bitterfinger, dripped a drop of blood, and activated the token. A virtual projection popped up, displaying several messages. Purple Clan Saintus, in 5 days, the Holy Clan will send someone to take you back to your clan's territory. Hidden Holy Clan, this message was received 5 days ago. In 1 month, the Imperial Clan's young master will come to marry you. Be prepared. Hidden Holy Clan, leave the mortal world as soon as possible and return to the core of Blue Star. This message was received today. Ziran edited the message and replied, I'll go with you. Don't interfere in mortal affairs. After replying, she put away the token. She stared blankly at Xiao Ye for half an hour, her beautiful eyes filled with longing. Half an hour later, Ziran tore open a special rift, jumped in, and disappeared. At the same time, Xiao Ye, sleeping on his bed, felt a tightness in his heart, a sense of loss, as if something had left him, something that, once gone, could never return. He suddenly woke up, sitting up abruptly. His heart inexplicably became somewhat flustered, and he had no idea why. Ziran, I feel a little unwell. Comfort me, and let's do it again. Xiao Ye reached for the spot beside him, but found nothing. He lifted the covers, but Ziran was nowhere to be seen. Only a single bloodstain remained on the blue sheet. Seeing this, the inexplicable panic in Xiao Ye's heart intensified. Wait? Xiao Ye frowned. At his great venerable level, this kind of panic wouldn't come out of nowhere, there must be a reason. It seemed that this panic was related to Ziran. Xiao Ye took out his communicator and dialed Ziran's number. Beep beep beep. The number you dialed is not in the signal area. Please try again later. He dialed several times, but it was the same each time. Xiao Ye's heart sank, and he had a vague premonition of something bad. Where did she go? Ziran's behavior tonight was very abnormal. According to normal logic, they were getting married tomorrow, and after signing the contract, they could consummate their marriage. But she gave herself to him today, without even a wedding ceremony or a contract. Hey, Sister Yunbing, is Sister Ziran next to you? Xiao Ye dialed Yunbing's number. Yunbing said irritably, I'm busy with wedding preparations in the middle of the night. Why would she be next to me if she's not with you? No. Xiao Ye hung up and dialed Huangfu Xiangling's number. Why, Xiao Ye, why isn't the person you're marrying me? It's my master. What? The sound of a white-haired girl sobbing and sniffling came from the communicator. Xiao Ye felt a headache coming on. What the hell? He just wanted to find out about Ziren, but he didn't expect to hear this. Wait. Don't cry. I have something to ask you, Xiao Ye said. The white-haired girl sniffled and sobbed. Huh? Xiao Ye said directly, where's your master? I need to talk to her. The white-haired girl sobbed in confusion. I don't know. What's wrong? Xiao Ye rubbed his temples in frustration and said, try contacting your master and see if you can get in touch with her. There must be a more special way for a master and disciple to communicate. The communicator wasn't disconnected. Half a minute later, a surprised voice came from the white-haired girl's end. Huh? That's strange. The Soul Jade Master left me isn't responding. I can't contact her. Xiao Ye hung up the phone, thinking to himself, this is bad. Trouble. Ziren might be in trouble. The Soul Jade is a special jade artifact that allows one to link soul power and contact the other party within the same realm. Ziren, you forced me to this. A ruthless glint flashed in Xiao Ye's eyes. He took out a rule-level treasure from his system space, the treasure-finding pointer. Rule level, treasure-finding pointer, function, as long as it exists in the world, it can find the hiding place of all rare and precious materials, including the location of any attribute magical beast, the location of a soul body, the special node of a secret realm, and the location of a treasure. As long as the other party truly exists in the universe, it can be found. Activating the treasure-finding pointer, Xiao Ye used the search function. Target, Ziren, specific information. 1.7 meters tall, average build, Saint Realm level 1. To ensure accuracy, he found 2 strands of Ziren's hair from his pillow and placed them on the treasure-finding pointer. Buzzing. The treasure-hunting pointer trembled, and a mysterious, supreme chain extended from it, linking to the void. On the other side, across the boundary sea, Ziren stood like a statue, her expression somewhat sorrowful, waiting for something unknown. A supreme chain had linked to her. Ziren was completely unaware, her emotions somber, immersed in grief and indignation. At Kunpeng Academy, the treasure-hunting pointer stopped trembling and issued a message, target linked. Activate special node map navigation function, activate. Xiao Ye said. As soon as he finished speaking, a 3D map appeared in his mind, a map composed of special nodes. A blue navigation line appeared, starting with Xiao Ye and ending with Ziren. Xiao Ye examined the map. He could understand it now, having recently crammed on knowledge about special nodes. Ah, Ziren isn't in the main space of Blue Star, this special node. It seems to be in the Earth's core. The Earth's core, isn't it all magma and the Earth's core? What would Sister Ziren do in such a god-forsaken place? He scratched his head, somewhat puzzled. Xiao Ye checked the 3D map in his mind again and was surprised to find that the special nodes around Ziren were actually golden, while the special nodes in the main space of Blue Star were blue. He immediately issued a command to the treasure-hunting pointer to explain the difference between gold and blue. The treasure-hunting pointer issued the following information. Golden special nodes are realms where the origin of rules exists. Blue are ordinary realms where the origin of rules does not exist. The rules of each planet cover all space globally, but in places where the origin of rules exists, the power of rules is more concentrated. Mastering the origin of rules can also advance to the rule level, Emperor Realm. Xiao Ye felt that he had broadened his horizons. He took a pair of scissors, cut off the fallen red flower on the blue sheet, and then put it in an exquisite box to store it away. He was certain that the feeling of loss came from Ziren. Xiao Ye had a vague feeling that if he didn't bring Ziren back today, he might never have the chance to see her again, and even if he did, he would lose her forever. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 399 Young Xie's Jealousy. Ziren breaks down in tears. Xiao Ye also wanted to know why she went to that place, and what she was doing there. He and Ziren were getting married tomorrow. Was she trying to elope? She actually wanted to elope. He'd definitely tie her up and bring her back, punish her a few times, and teach her a lesson. Xiao Ye left the villa and went to the adjacent villa number 1 to find Yunzai. Ziran was a Saint Realm cultivator. To bring back a Saint Realm cultivator, he needed to find Yunzai. It was 10 o'clock at night. Villa number 1 was brightly lit, in the living room on the 3rd floor. Yunzai was very troubled, feeling a tightness in her chest. Why do I feel so bad when I think about Xiao Ye marrying Ziran, marrying another woman? Could it be that I've really fallen for him? Yunzai realized that she might have developed feelings for Xiao Ye, that she probably liked him, and that the thought of him marrying another woman made her feel unbearably sad and painful. She finally admitted that she liked Xiao Ye. No, he's Xiao Bing's husband. How could I possibly fall for Xiao Ye? Xiao Bing married Xiao Ye, so I'm destined never to marry him. How can sisters marry the same man at the same time? She rubbed her eyebrows, feeling quite troubled. Just then, knock, knock, knock. A knock came from downstairs, followed by a deep, pleasant male voice. Sister Yangxi, are you there? I need to talk to you. It was Xiao Ye's voice. Xiao Ye? Why is he here so late? Yangxi quickly went downstairs and welcomed Xiao Ye. A man and a woman alone together, Yangxi felt a secret joy. She could be alone with him. Sister Yangxi, Ziran is in trouble. She ran away from her wedding. Xiao Ye's expression was grave as he cut to the chase. Ah! Yangxi was startled. A surge of joy instinctively rose within her. Running away was good. The troubled look on her face vanished instantly. Xiao Ye was surprised. Sister Yangxi, Ziran ran away from her wedding. Are you happy? Yangxi hurriedly waved her hand. No, why would Ziran run away from her wedding? Where did she go? Xiao Ye frowned, looking at her in confusion. Although she said no, the joy in her beautiful eyes could not be concealed. But now time is tight, they have to bring Ziran back before tomorrow, otherwise the wedding will be without a bride. The invitations should have been sent out by now, both Kinzir's and Ziran's invitations have been sent out. If Ziran, the bride, is not there tomorrow, wouldn't the wedding be a joke, a laughing stock? 3995-27. Ziran is at this special node. Xiao Ye's rough hand grabbed Yangxi's fair hand and said quickly, let's set off now and bring her back. With her hand grabbed, Yangxi's cold and pretty face flushed slightly, her heart leaping with joy. I don't think Ziran will run away from the wedding. She'll come back on her own. How about we have some tea and chat here, she suggested. Xiao Ye was stunned. Damn, Sister Yangxi, you're happy that Ziran ran away from the wedding? You don't even want to go find her. You need to think this through. This is serious. If the bride runs away, I'll lose face. If she leaves like this, I might never see her again. Her inner thoughts exposed, the icy and beautiful Yangxi blushed and said awkwardly, how could that be? No way. It's 3995-27. These special coordinates are, we'll go there now. Xiao Ye looked at her strangely. Yangxi was a stunningly beautiful woman with a cold demeanor. In terms of looks, she was on par with Ziran, but in terms of figure, she now surpassed Ziran and Yangxi. Her breasts were prominently displayed, firm and bulging, stretching her bulky white robe. Her back featured a sculpted six-pack, so high it seemed a glass of water could rest on it. A stunning figure, a devilish body. But wasn't she Ziran's best friend? Why was she happy that Ziran had run away from her wedding? Xiao Ye scratched his head, utterly perplexed. Rip. Yunzai, now a Saint Realm expert in spatial attributes, tore open a spatial rift, grabbed Xiao Ye's rough hand, and stepped barefoot inside. Spatial teleportation. Extremely long-distance teleportation. In the void behind the space, they teleported more than 10 times, 10 minutes later, finally arriving at spatial coordinates 3995-27. On the front of the space, Ziran stood there like a statue, alone in the vast void, her back view somewhat desolate. This was the void between realms. I'm sorry, if I don't leave, I'll bring you disaster, so I must go. Besides, I have a family mission to fulfill. To master the devouring rules and advance to the Emperor realm. As for that fiancé from the hidden imperial family, I, Ziran, would rather die than marry him. I'm already married, I've lost my virginity, my husband is Xiao Ye, that younger brother I both love and resent. Her melodious yet sorrowful voice echoed in the empty void. Suddenly, Ziran's pretty face turned cold, and she shouted, who? She unleashed a powerful punch, striking the spatial barrier beside her. Boom. A loud noise. The spatial barrier trembled a few times. Yunzai and Xiao Ye's figures appeared. Seeing Ziran, Yunzai somewhat guiltily released her rough hand. Upon seeing the newcomers, Ziran stood frozen in place, stammering, "You, how did you get here? How did you find me?" Xiao Ye's handsome face was filled with anger as he leaped over, saying, "Never mind how we found you, Ziran, are you trying to elope? You just forced yourself on me, and you want to leave?" Bang! Bang! Xiao Ye raised his hand and slapped Ziran's round bottom several times, one slap for each sentence. "Tell me, why are you leaving? Why are you leaving without saying goodbye? Bang! You just walk away like that, you don't even respect me, Xiao Ye." Bang bang! 2 more slaps landed on her round bottom. At this moment, Ziran was like a child who had done something wrong, her pretty face filled with guilt, her head lowered, her gaze darting away, unable to meet his eyes. She silently endured Xiao Ye's blows. Yunzai watched Ziran being spanked, a hint of envy and jealousy appearing in her beautiful eyes. Sigh, if only Xiao Ye could spank my bottom so affectionately like that, how sweet and playful their banter would be. But now, he's spanking Ziran. I can't let Xiao Ye keep doing that. Is he showing off his affection in front of me? So Xie spoke up, "Xiao Ye, stop. You'll break it if you keep hiding her." Listen to Ziran's explanation, she must have something she can't say. Xiao Ye stopped spanking, pulled Ziran into his arms, and held her tightly. His words were warm and firm, "Sister Ziran, you'll never escape my grasp in this lifetime. No matter where you go, I'll find you instantly. So don't think about leaving. If there are difficulties, we'll face them together." This heartfelt confession touched a sensitive and tender nerve in Ziran's heart, and she burst into tears. Chapter 400. Ziran is determined to leave. I am the holy maiden of a reclusive holy clan, burdened with a mission, and bound by a marriage contract since childhood. They will come to take me back tomorrow. If I don't leave beforehand, they will not allow me to marry you, and they might even destroy you to protect my reputation. If I could, I would want to be with you every day, to be inseparable. After a minute of silent sobbing, Ziran explained desperately. Xiao Ye suddenly understood. Ziran had left to protect him. His anger dissipated, replaced by a pang of heartache. Ziran had borne all these grievances and difficulties alone. They were husband and wife, they should have shared the burden, but she had carried it all alone. Xiao Ye patted her back, comforting her, "It's alright, they can't kill me. I have the nine-tailed celestial fox's 9 perfect rebirths, the nine-tailed celestial fox's infinite blood rebirth, the candle dragon's infinite attribute inheritance and reincarnation, plus you and Xie, both Saint Realm experts, and the quasi-emperor great perfection grandfather Tang Hao. They can't kill me." Ziran's beautiful eyes widened in astonishment. "You actually have so many ways to protect yourself?" Xiao Ye pinched her exquisitely beautiful face and smiled. "That's right, I'm very difficult to kill, so don't worry too much about my safety." Ziran's heart, which had been hanging in suspense, eased slightly, but remained anxious. She said, "You don't understand the power of the Hidden Saint clan and the Hidden Emperor clan. Those resurrection methods can't harm them. If they capture you and seal you in annihilation, erase your consciousness, and seal your soul, you won't be able to cause any trouble." Xiao Ye's lips twitched, retorting, "Then I still have you and Xie, both Saint Realm experts." Xie, who was hugging a huge chest beside her, nodded and laughed, "Yes, and there are also the 2 of us Saint Realm experts." Ziran shook her head and said self-deprecatingly, "We are only at the first level of Saint Realm, just starting out. How can we be a match for the Hidden Saint clan that has accumulated hundreds of thousands of years of experience?" Xiao Ye stubbornly said, "I still have Grandpa Tang, a quasi-emperor at the great perfection. I don't believe that Grandpa Tang can't resist them." Ziran rolled her eyes and said, "The Hidden Imperial clan has quasi-emperor level experts. Peak quasi-emperors are not soul bodies. A quasi-emperor at the great perfection level with a soul body can exert greatly reduced combat power. How could they possibly be a match for a peak quasi-emperor from the Hidden Imperial clan? Moreover, soul bodies are special. The Hidden Imperial clan has special methods to deal with soul bodies." Xiao Ye. Xie also realized the seriousness of the matter, and her little face darkened. Ziran released Xiao Ye, her beautiful eyes resolute. "I'll leave alone to ensure everyone's safety, Xiao Ye. Let me go," she said. "Otherwise, You and your beast girl will face annihilation. Xiao Ye fell silent. According to Ziran's words, letting her go was indeed the most appropriate choice. But he was unwilling. This separation meant who knew when he would see Ziran again. His talent was mythical, unique throughout the ages, but his cultivation time was short, less than a year, and his realm was only at the Great Venerable Realm. If he were given 100 years, what hidden holy clans or hidden imperial clans? They would be nothing to him. Ziran took a step back, feigning ease, and said, "Don't worry, I won't marry that fiancé. You'll be my only husband for life. Once I return to receive the inheritance, cultivate diligently, and strive to be the first to advance to the Emperor Realm, becoming invincible on Blue Star, I'll come to find you immediately. Or, when you advance to the Emperor Realm and become invincible on Blue Star, you can come to find me then. At that time, there will be nothing to fear, no one can stop us from being together, and no one will dare to stop us from being together." She took out a tablet from her storage ring, placed it in Xiao Ye's hand, and smiled. "If you miss me, just open the tablet and watch the short videos I recorded. You'll definitely like them." Then, she took out a doll that resembled a silicone doll, a one-to-one replica of herself. This doll was practically a carbon copy of Ziran, with equally delicate skin and the same explosive figure she had when she broke through to the Saint Realm. She wore a purple dress and had long, flowing purple hair. I personally made this using over 10 special materials at the Supreme Perfection level. It's exactly like me, down to every detail. If you miss me later, you can hug this little Ziran, or do whatever you like. She has all the functions. Little Ziran, you can take off this dress." Ziran handed the little Ziran to him. Xiao Ye held the little Ziran, a tablet in his hand, his lips twitching. Yunzai stared blankly, listening intently, utterly bewildered. Ziran snorted, saying, "Xiao Zai, don't think you're so great now. At my peak, you couldn't compare to me. And this little Ziran's figure was made by my own hands when I was at my peak." Yunzai wasn't particularly concerned about her figure, so she nodded indifferently. Ziran smiled smugly. After the template was repaired, she still retained a touch of narcissism, though to a much lesser degree than before. "Alright, I've finished explaining, Xiao Ye. I'm leaving now, going back." Ziran gave Xiao Ye a deep look. Xiao Ye's face darkened, and he shouted, "Stop." Ziran trembled, her eyes welling with tears, but she resolutely turned and flew away into the distance. Xiao Ye hurriedly called out, "Sister Yangxi, catch her and tie her up." Yangxi shook her head. "Ziran's choice is the right one. This way, you won't be harmed or hunted by the hidden clans. Although I don't know much about the hidden clans, judging from Ziran's words, their holy clan has a history of hundreds of thousands of years, even longer than the capital of our dragon kingdom, dating back dozens of eras. Their combat power must be extremely strong. I won't put everyone in danger for your own selfish desires. Otherwise, I won't be able to protect you at all." She stood beside Xiao Ye, explaining, without chasing after them. Xiao Ye sighed, took out the Bronze Palace, and activated its capture function. The Bronze Palace was a quasi-emperor-level perfected imperial artifact, capable of forcibly capturing supreme, quasi-saint, and saint-level creatures with ease. Buzz buzz buzz. The Bronze Palace locked onto Ziran, 20,000 meters away, and instantly projected two beams of light, one green and one blue. Ziran, her spirits low, flew rapidly when suddenly the two beams of light of different colors struck her. Her flight came to an abrupt halt. "What is this? My cultivation level has been sealed. I can't move. Who is it?" The two beams of light from the Bronze Palace retracted, forcibly capturing Ziran. "How?" Xiao Ye chuckled, trying to leave? "Impossible. Even in the face of danger, I won't let you go. As for this little Ziran, I'll keep her." He squeezed the little Ziran's landmine, surprised to find that it felt exactly like a real one. Yunzai was shocked and anxiously said, "If you do this, I won't be able to protect you. Do you want Xiao Bing and your beast girl to be in danger?" End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.